it may have been the fight of the year.
What a slugfest!
It was certainly the best heavyweight brawl in recent memory.
Furious pace for big men, non-stop action.
A toe-to-toe, 12-round, non-stop, back-and-forth slugfest between WBO champion Layman Brewster.
Beautiful round. Let's fight down now. Okay, let's fight down.
And little-known Sergei Liakhovich.
Get your hands up and start boxing, and this guy is dead.
The heavy blows of the champion and the rallies of the challenger had the pundits searching for superlatives and the fans on their feet.
They're all standing here in Cleveland, Ohio, in celebration of these two warriors.
After 12 rounds, the determined battler from Belarus emerged the new WBO champion. Could Sergei Liakhovich be the man to beat in the heavyweight division? Tonight, he'll begin to answer that question in the first test of his heavyweight reign. Tonight, a slice of ring history as America's Fight Night welcomes you to downtown Phoenix. Yes, the Valley of the Sun is hosting its first ever heavyweight championship fight, and it will take place in a most unique setting as you look down on Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. And this is one of Major League Baseball's most recognizable landmarks as Showtime Championship Boxing celebrates its 20th anniversary from this home run hitter's paradise. It's only fitting as an American slugger reaches for stardom in a division devoid of an American champion. It's Fight Night in Phoenix. In our main event, Shannon Briggs vows to bring the belt back to Brooklyn, but Sergei Liakhovich, one of 4 heavyweight champions born in Eastern Europe, stands in his way. Liakhovich versus Briggs for the WBO heavyweight crown. And for openers, the baby bull, undefeated, crowd-pleasing Juan Diaz will put his WBA lightweight belt on the line against unheralded Fernando Angulo. Hello again, everybody. Steve Albert from Phoenix. Much has been made about the fact that all 4 heavyweight titleists hail from the former Soviet Union, but WBC champ Oleg Moskiev is an American citizen. IBF champ Vladimir Klitschko has relocated to New York City, and tonight, Sergei Liakhovich, who hopes to become an American citizen someday, makes his first title defense here in his adopted hometown of Phoenix. Liakhovich, fresh off his impressive win to dethrone Layman Brewster, and his newfound status reminds us that the American dream isn't only for Americans. And with that, let me bring on my ringside partner, Al Bernstein. And Al, were you surprised by Liakhovich's performance against Brewster, particularly after a 16-month layoff?
Well, in some ways, yes, but the fact of the matter is he had shown some sparks of excellence in that fight 16 months earlier against Dominic Wynn. Against Brewster, he fought with great grit and determination, but also, Steve, a lot of skill as well. And that 16-month layoff should have made that much harder, to be sure. And part of the reason why all of that worked out was the corner work of trainer Kenny Weldon, here collecting his thoughts along with Sergei for tonight's challenge. Now, seldom do you see corner work that includes passion to motivate, but still is totally grounded in important strategic advice. And against Brewster, Weldon would not let his fighter wander from their game plan.
You got to get your left hand up. He'll still around with one punch like that. Okay? Keep your left hand up. Your jab is working good.
Upstairs to the left hook, a right hand. He's trying to end it here.
Next time I see you on the ropes like that, I swear I'll throw the stool at you. What are you doing here?
Can Brewster take advantage? Nails him with the right and the left hand. He's down. The accumulative effect put him down to a knee.
Why won't you listen listen to me. Why won't you listen to me? This is for the championship of the world. And you know what? You ain't listening to me. Get out there and fight.
Good right hand over the top by Liakhovich, to the body by Liakhovich. Liakhovich firing bombs to the body. Brewster hangs tough.
If you think that you can stand toe-to-toe with this guy and win this fight, you're wrong.
These are bombs by Brewster.
I've asked you all night long to get your left hand up. You ain't got it up yet. Get your hands up and start boxing, and this guy is dead. This fight is won with a jab. You understand? Make sure you step when you jab. You'll bust him up.
Beautiful. Doubling up on the jab by Liakhovich, and he's doing exactly what Kenny Weldon told him to do while Brewster's trying to end it on one punch.
Don't go out there. Don't get in a fight this round. He's got to knock you out to win.
The probing, range-finding jab by Liakhovich, just keeping it in the face of Brewster, keeping him off balance, keeping him out of his rhythm.
There's the bell to end a terrific fight. The winner and new WBO heavyweight champion of the world.
And we may hear a replay of some of those Weldon comments because tonight's opponent, Shannon Briggs, would like Liakhovich to engage in a firefight, as he sometimes did against Layman Brewster. Now, Briggs has waged a public psychological campaign of blistering personal attacks that are directed at Liakhovich, and that's to get him riled up enough to battle him in the trenches. So we'll see if it all works.
Well, Al, as you know, Brewster tried to slug with Liakhovich, and it didn't work. Can Briggs be successful with that same strategy?
Well, you know, we have to say that Liakhovich was hurt in the Brewster fight. In fact, was down. And in 2002, Maurice Harris stopped Liakhovich, so he can be stopped. I see this fight, honestly, as almost a replay of a fight that Shannon Briggs had for the World Championship before, and that is against Lennox Lewis. It was a wild brawl with multiple knockdowns, a lot of ebbs and flows, and that's what I see tonight. I think this is going to be a barn burner.
All right, now the overriding feeling is that Briggs needs a knockout to win, so it could very well be fireworks night at Chase Field in our main event later tonight. First up from Phoenix, though, we present our co-feature as undefeated bruiser Juan Diaz is set to defend his WBA lightweight title against South American Fernando Angulo. This is more than the Baby Bull's fifth title defense. It's an opportunity to command the division's spotlight. Well, Al, anyone who's seen Juan Diaz in action knows of his relentless punching and his high work rate. Angulo, on the other hand, is somewhat of a mystery man to the public in the ring.
That's for sure, and there's a good reason for that. This is his first fight here in the United States, and in fact, it's his first fight outside of South America. And Steve and I were both very impressed when we got to watch video of Angulo in action. He is an aggressive, imaginative fighter who will complement the high-energy approach of Diaz. And make no mistake, the 23-year-old champion Juan Diaz is all about frenetic activity. Diaz overwhelms opponents with combinations that come at a hectic pace. Expect more of same tonight. They've worked hard on his defense, and against the very active Fernando Angulo, he'll need those skills too. Diaz is dedicated to body work, especially digging hooks to the body. The Diaz hook starts with him lowering his head to avoid the jab. He eyes the target, and he'll get good leverage to throw the hook to the body. And to show his commitment to making this work after he's done it once, he quickly resets and then does it all over again. You'll see a lot of this tonight. A weapon that will counteract what we just saw from Diaz is a good uppercut, and Angulo has one. But sometimes he leads off with that punch from the outside. If he does, he'll get countered. Angulo is active and creative with his combinations, but he often loops his punches. That could cost him tonight.
And now we're set for two fighters who couldn't come from more different worlds. Fernando Angulo, born near the Amazon rainforest in Ecuador. He never knew his father. He thinks he was killed. He was estranged from his mother, and he lived with an uncle who physically abused him. So he fled to the jungle at age 7, a 9-year journey of survival. When he wasn't subsisting alone on bugs, worms, and snakes surrounded by wild animals, he'd go into town begging for food, sleeping in the streets. And folks, this was not a reality show. This was real life drama. And interestingly, Al, Angulo considers his childhood embarrassing, yet many would consider it a triumph to overcome child abuse, abject poverty, and total isolation. And tonight, here he is fighting for a world title.
Well, based upon all that, nothing that happens tonight is going to face him. You know, he's stablemates with Carlos Baldomir. He's the same manager as Baldomir, and he believes he can pull the kind of upset that Baldomir did against Zab Judah. He's committed to that, and let me tell you, this guy's a good fighter.
That night, Baldomir was a 16-1 underdog. But at least people knew who he was. He was rated #1 at the time. This guy is completely unknown. And how do you go from surviving in the jungle, living each day in fear and in hunger, to a career in boxing? He said when he was 16, he came upon a trainer in town. He saw a film about Muhammad Ali, and it aroused his interest. He told us he always knew he was going to be a world champ someday, win or lose tonight. Truly an astonishing rags to riches story. In dramatic contrast, the champion, Juan Diaz, who always had the support of a loving, nurturing family, a warm home, blessed with a good education, worked very hard to make the most of his opportunities, graduated high school with a 3.85 grade point average, a year and a half away from college graduation and a degree in government from the University of Houston, with plans to go to law school. We watched Diaz grow up here on Showtime, Al, emerging from the shadow of 2000 Olympians and stablemates Panchito Bajano and Rocky Juarez. We had a premonition that he was going to be the one to bust out. There was something very special about this young man, and he has not disappointed.
No, and he doesn't want to tonight, and he is very, very intent on not looking past Angulo. He watched tapes of him. He said, these are exactly the kind of fights you can stub your toe on and divert your career. He said that will not happen tonight.
A polite, soft-spoken, refreshingly humble guy, and how many world champions do you know who still live at home with their parents? And there they are, Olivia and Fidencio. He told us his mom said she'd throw me out of the house if I wasn't working, but he has a strict curfew enforced by his dad. And it's lights out at 10 o'clock. She gets very emotional, doesn't she?
Yeah, boy, you can see it etched on her face already. You can see the emotion. She just can't watch him fight.
Olivia gets extremely nervous watching one fight. Boy, she can barely walk, even when he's when he's walking into the ring, and then when the fight actually starts, she just has her face buried in a hanky and in her hands. And you had a great question, you know, at the fighter meeting. Which would he get more satisfaction out of, winning a world title or graduating from college?
Yeah, and both he and Willie Savannah said it would be one of the most special days of their lives when he graduates from college, and that'll happen within the next year and a half. First one in his family to do it.
All right, with that, let's check the numbers, Al, as we go to the tail of the tape. Diaz fighting pro almost 6.5 years, yet he's only 23, 2 years younger than Angulo. Diaz a little taller, but Angulo with the slight edge in reach. At yesterday's weigh-in, both came in just under the limit. And the key unified rules: no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter can't be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4, they go to the cards. If a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. And Al, they've waived the infield fly rule.
Thanks for that baseball reference.
Anytime. So here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, where the ring is right over the pitcher's mound, it'll be Juan Diaz versus Fernando Angulo for the WBA Lightweight Championship. We get the formal introductions from our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you, and we welcome you to Chase Field here in Phoenix, Arizona, as we have a big night of action in store for you. And it's all brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Nemiroff and Showtime. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this world title attraction coming into the ring is sanctioned by the World Boxing Association, President Gilberto Mendoza, Supervisor Noah Rondo, along with the Arizona State Boxing Commission. Introducing at this time are three judges scoring this bout from ringside. From West Covina, California, Raul Caiz Sr. From Tucson, Arizona, Gerald Maltz. And from Bayamon, Puerto Rico, Luis Pabon. Introducing to you our third man to the ring, the referee in charge, working this his 8th world title bout, Raul Caiz Jr. All right, fans, here we go. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBA Lightweight Championship of the World. Introducing to you first the challenger on my left, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with white trim, fighting out of Caracas, Venezuela, by way of Sucumbio, Ecuador. He weighed in at ready 134 pounds with 13 straight victories. His record stands at 18 wins, 3 losses, with 12 wins coming by way of knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the WBA number 11 lightweight contender. Please welcome the challenger, Fernando La Fiera Angulo. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing blue trunks, fighting out of Houston, Texas, by way of Huitzuco, Guerrero, Mexico. He weighed in the same as his opponent, 134 pounds. He is undefeated in his campaign in the ring with 30 wins, no losses, 15 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, making the 5th defense of his title, here is the WBA Lightweight Champion of the World, introducing Juan Baby Bull Diaz. And once again, here's our referee in charge, Raul Caiz Jr., now to give instructions.
Por favor, quita el mouthpiece. Ven para acá. Ten tu mouthpiece. Protector. Mouthpiece, please. Okay, gentlemen. Here are the legal punches. Here on up. Aquí están los golpes legales. Let's have a good, clean fight. Toca aguante, buena suerte a los dos. Good luck to both of you. Go to the corner. Thank you. A la esquina, por favor.
Will the unbeaten champion have his way, or will an unknown challenger become an overnight star? For all the hard work he puts in, Juan Diaz cannot get that chiseled look, but he's always in shape to bring it. As easygoing as they come, transforms into a ferocious, high-volume pressure fighter. Angulo's fight for survival as a youngster provided him the kind of fortitude needed to reach this plateau, and as Al pointed out, you'd imagine he would not be awestruck by the moment or intimidated by the setting. But be sure that Diaz cannot take this guy lightly, and he knows that better than anyone. If there's anyone who is used to doing homework, whether it's about another fighter or about government and law in school, it's Juan Diaz. Diaz usually gets right to it, tenacious from the start, digs to the body. Not a huge one-punch guy, relies more on the accumulative effect. Really lets his hands go. Not unusual to see 3-4 punch combinations from Diaz in the powder blue trunks. He's the champion. Angulo, a tough, no-nonsense guy, a more deliberate starter, but doesn't take that long to rev up. He's in the black trunks with the white trim. He may lack some polish, but a strong, hard puncher, Al, very aggressive, in-your-face kind of guy.
Early in this fight, very important, Angulo not a strong starter, and Diaz knows this, and Diaz is pressuring him from the get-go. This is going to be an action fight, make no mistake about it.
And Angulo very wild and sometimes reckless, leaving himself open, punches wide at times, which could provide Diaz with the openings he needs. But he is strong and awkward, which Diaz says are dangerous characteristics. He says Angulo kind of reminded him, looking at tapes, of Ricardo Mayorga. Angulo's best weapons, the overhand right, and as Al alluded to earlier on the keys, the nasty uppercut.
No punch, break.
And that could be big if Diaz leans in. A factor also here, Al, could be Angulo's conditioning in light of an 11-month layoff, he says, due to personal problem.
You know, early in this fight, and that's another reason why Diaz wants to get on. Diaz's jab so far in this match has been very good. These are dangerous times for Angulo. He's just not comfortable in the first couple rounds. Once he gets his sea legs, he's a much better fighter, but Diaz having a pretty good first round here.
Diaz has what's known in old boxing parlance as an educated jab. Very effective. It's a key to his arsenal. There's that right uppercut attempt that we alluded to by Angulo, but fell far short.
You know, Angulo is using his jab effectively to try and keep Diaz off. It's just not working as well as it might, but he's making an effort to do the right thing.
Well, definitely a huge step up in class of competition for Angulo, but he's game, and he just landed with a right hand.
Nice counter punching, and we saw momentarily that uppercut from Angulo, which could be such an important weapon.
There's a left hook upstairs by Diaz. Diaz, like his nickname, the Baby Bull, rushes in, but he does it more wisely now.
5 seconds.
He doesn't do it indiscriminately as he used to when he first started out.
Everything is good. Now listen, look, this guy, all he's trying to do is box you now. He just try to do something a little bit different now, okay? Now look, he ain't used to that, so he ain't gonna be able to keep doing it, all right? But look, don't follow him. Step over. He's running this way, just step over this way. Force him to go that way, all right? Now look, you got him when he's going that way, all right? He's all yours right there, baby, okay? Everything is fine, but you gotta keep going behind your jab. Add your face to it. All right, when he's moving around, add your face to it. Then when he throw the jab, shoot the right hand right over the top. When he don't like it in the body then, okay? He hate that body shot. Everything is good though, baby, everything is good. Keep working like that, all right?
Second job, let's go.
I got the stool.
Former junior welterweight contender Ronnie Shields, longtime trainer of Juan Diaz, set for round 2. Diaz 30-0 with 15 knockouts.
Let's go, let's go.
Little delay in getting the mouthpiece in for Angulo.
People talk about Juan Diaz not being a big knockout puncher, and is that a detriment to his marketing, etc.? I say no, because I think boxing fans want to see action in fights, and that's what Juan Diaz creates, and this fight is a perfect example.
Unrelenting, a hard-digging puncher to the body, usually the case when you look at Juan Diaz. So fundamentally sound, elbows in, gloves high, protecting his face. Good body shots there by Diaz. Just keeps stalking his opponent.
A moment ago, Angulo threw that uppercut from very far out, and it's something he needs not to do because he'll be countered by a big left hook by Diaz.
Diaz trying to incorporate more boxing into his repertoire. Doesn't want to be known as a brawler. More side to side, jabbing, trying to keep his distance a little better and not get hit as much.
Also, the defense they've worked on, some of it evident tonight, keeping his hands up, slipping a little bit more so far, though it's very early in this fight.
Diaz leaping in with that left hook attempt that missed everything. And the jab by Angulo, nice.
Even if Angulo gives away these first couple of rounds, which looks like it might be happening, nice chopping right by Diaz, don't be misled, because he just doesn't do well in the first couple rounds. He picks up the beat starting in round 3, 4, and 5.
Diaz 3 months shy of qualifying for the 2000 Mexican Olympic team. Turned pro at age 16 south of the border. And goes on to become WBA lightweight champion at the age of 20. So a real child prodigy in the world of boxing.
Stop.
Hard body shot, and Raul Caiz says, keep the punches up. That was borderline by Diaz.
It's that strong jab again by Diaz. Ronnie Shields has got to be happy about that. He's stepping in with that punch, and it's very, very effective.
Big miss by Angulo, and a countering left hook upstairs by Diaz. Diaz will make you pay if you miss. Now he's backing Angulo up. Diaz missing with the right. Angulo continues to backpedal. He's not used to this.
He'd rather come forward, but the pressure of Diaz is making him go back, and at some point he will engage Diaz. Make no mistake about it.
Angulo's won 13 in a row, hasn't lost since 02. Fought some good guys in South America, but not in there with world-class competition like this, not even close.
5 segundos, 5 seconds, gentlemen. When you go break, hasta para atrás, okay?
Felix De Jesus, our translator.
Good round. Here's some water.
Tómalo, tú, inmediatamente. Vamos. Bota el agua, bota el agua.
Throw the water, throw it out, spit it out.
Okay, quita eso de ahí, respira.
Okay.
Respira
Breathe.
profundamente.
Breathe deeply.
Vamos,
Breathe
respira.
deeply. Come on,
Respira.
breathe deeply.
¿Cómo te sientes? ¿Está bien? Ok. ¿Está muy fuerte el hombre?
Diaz was able to get this very nice right hand in, and that momentarily wobbled his opponent. And the body work by Diaz, always an important staple of what he does. We talked about it in the keys before. And look how he dips down and cranks up that left hook. I mean, he's committed to that, and it makes a big difference.
Juan Diaz, a naturally aggressive left hooker with fast hands, and he just eventually gets to you. He wears you down, he slows you down with a high work rate, very busy with his hands.
The irony, the odd thing about Angulo is we talked about his level of competition. He actually fought tougher people in 2004 and 3. In 2005, he fought only 4 fights. And his opponents had a combined record of 57 and 39, and then he had that 11-month layoff. So he had tougher competition earlier in his career. So he's stepping up from the recent people he's fought.
Nice right hand to the temple by Juan Diaz. Like stablemate Carlos Baldomir, Angulo, as you said, he got off to a rough start, and then when he changed management team and trainers, he had higher skilled trainers, he started to improve. You saw it in the ring record. And he's had some impressive wins against guys like Jorge Noriega, Santos Rebolledo, and Eloy Rojas.
Wow, nice left hand, but
look at this exchange.
Angulo is going back at him. A lot of enthusiastic fans. You can hear one of the Diaz rooters being our third commentator.
Angulo's game, that's for sure.
Punch, punch.
He stands right in and trades with Diaz, and he lets his hands go upstairs and then to the body.
Let's go, punch. Stop. Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Box.
Angulo is starting to make the uppercut work from time to time, and you see this is round 3 when he normally wakes up and starts to do some really good work, and he's doing it. Not everything's landing, though. The Diaz defense, as we pointed out, better than it used to be.
There you go. Box.
Diaz coming forward. Big left hook to the chin by Diaz, and Angulo's got a good chin right there, and he's fighting back.
This is just what we thought this would be.
Some wild exchanges here. There's a left hook that was blocked by the glove of Diaz. Diaz missing with the right. He was looking for lights out there. That was a home run.
The looping punches of Angulo, that's the problem. You know, some of those are not straight enough, and Angulo is paying the price occasionally for that.
These are hard shots to the body now by Angulo, Al. But now Diaz comes right back, pushing Angulo to the corner. But Angulo throws.
This is going to be fun. And I have a feeling we might get 12 rounds of this.
Now, we really thought, looking at tapes of Angulo, that he may not necessarily come out with a W, but he's going to give Diaz his money's worth. And this crowd, its money's worth.
This is a very close round here in round 3. Angulo has done a lot of good work. So has Diaz. Very tough one to score.
Final seconds of round 3. Big finish there by Juan Diaz.
Give me the water, give me the water.
Vamos, repita.
Breathe.
Te quito pelotón. Te lo quito.
Want me to take off the mouthpiece? Okay, wash it. Wash the mouthpiece.
Te pudiste cambiar muy rápido.
You're exchanging too quickly. Don't exchange just yet. Let's give him another round before we start exchanging.
Interesting advice in that corner. Diaz landing this left hook and pressuring Angulo and getting in a couple of very, very good left hooks. And the pressure of Diaz, of course, is a thing to behold. Here's the uppercut that lands on the inside. Split the gloves of Diaz. Angulo has a very good uppercut, and then he works the body in there. It was a spirited end of the round. Angulo throwing wider punches, and that's why he's being countered a little bit in the inside by Diaz, especially with that left hook. The Diaz left hook to the head worked better, Steve, than it has even in recent fights.
And now we begin round 4. Let's see if Diaz picks up where he left off. He really pressured Angulo at the end of the round, and he picks right up. But back comes Angulo, winging away, just throwing.
Stop. Here we go. Break, step back. Let him go.
Well, his nickname is the Wild Animal. And he said that hits him both inside and outside the ring sometime, and we can see it.
Now Angulo steps back, tries to be a little bit more measuring.
If this fight goes the distance, and if it is close, round 3 is one that they may look back on. A pivotal round, very tough one to score.
Angulo 18-3, 12 knockouts, fighting pro almost 7 years. At 25 amateur fights, he said, the heck with the amateurs, I got to make some money.
Stop. Break. Let him go, let him go. Here we go. Cuidado con la cabeza. Cuidado con la cabeza.
He's only been down 1 time in 21 pro fights. Back in 2002, his lone TKO loss versus a fighter named Robert Rojas.
You know, it was interesting, I thought, in between rounds when they talked to Angulo, and they pointed out that it was a little too early to get in these firefights. I think they're looking to round 5 or 6 to do that more, but of course there is a danger of giving away too many early rounds.
Nice right hand by Diaz, but Angulo was going backwards and had full impact. Raul Caiz Jr. out of West Covina, California, his 8th world title fight as a referee.
You know, Juan Diaz has made huge strides. He's 23, he's been a pro for 7 years already, a champion for 2. He's much more economical with his punches. While he still throws combinations, they're much more measured. You can see that Willie Savannah and he have done a lot of work in the gym.
And he's really at a point now in his career where he wants to start making statements and step it up to a big name, high marquee, real polished type of opponent. Unify Joel Casmayor, maybe the winner of the Jesus Chavez Julio Diaz fight down the road, maybe even beyond that, Ricky Hatton if he goes up in weight.
Watch that.
Well, he's made himself more difficult to hit. He does a much better job of blocking punches and slipping them. And even though Angulo's throwing a lot of punches in this round, still not many of them getting in. Diaz is more economical, but I think more accurate in this round.
Diaz marches forward again.
Oh, look at those body shots by Diaz.
Stop. Break. Here we go. Box.
Oh, vicious exchange there, and Diaz very aggressive. Left hook up to the chin by Juan Diaz. That really scored. Great action here between Diaz and Angulo, but Diaz pretty much controlling. Coming up, our main event later tonight, the WBO Heavyweight Championship from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. It'll be Sergei Liakhovich making his first title defense of the WBO crown against Brooklyn's Shannon Briggs, as we come to you from the enormous Chase Field, opened in 1998, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Diaz found a home for that left hook that landed a number of times against Angulo, and he just kept the pressure on him.
Round 5 scheduled for 12 for the WBA Lightweight Championship. Juan Diaz pitching a shutout, appropriate, I guess, in a ballpark. That's going to be the last baseball reference.
No, I don't think you can do it. I'm not sure.
I'll give you $1, okay, if I have one more.
We're going to find you.
Well, I'm really generous.
Yeah, it's a right hand to the body by Angulo. You know, Steve, it's not as if Angulo has landed his own body shots. He has. They just haven't been as effective, I think, as Diaz's. Juan Diaz really has a more compact style, a better defense. He's shown a lot of improvement. He really has.
He's come a long way since we last saw him in, what was that, about 2000?
In Houston, yeah.
In Houston, when he fought Ubaldo Hernandez, I believe it was. And he was knocked down for the first time. And after the fight, on the post-fight interview, he got very emotional. Started crying because it's the first time he had ever experienced that as a pro. And boy, has he toughened up.
And you saw the press row scoring. They have it a shutout, as do I, 40-36, although one of those rounds was very close, and I was tempted to give it to Angulo.
Norm Frauenheim from the Arizona Republic, Darren Nichols from BoxingTalks.com, and William Stickney Jr. from the Houston Chronicle. Press row people.
Now, Angulo at this moment needs to land something significant. Those are excellent body shots, by the way, that he's throwing. And he is, as we point out, a fighter who picks up the beat as things go on. And there he goes with the right hand. So you see, this is the Angulo that we saw against a number of opponents, who's very active, throws punches from all angles, and he's tough to deal with. He's having a good round 5.
Diaz is smart, though, because when he throws that uppercut, he throws it from close range. And that's what you're supposed to do.
Absolutely.
And there's one over the top by Diaz, and back comes Angulo with that uppercut you were talking about. And look at this, in the center of the ring, they go toe-to-toe.
Wow, this is a fun round 5, and a good one for Angulo. He is getting himself back in this fight a little bit, at least by winning one round, while he certainly will still be behind in this bout. At least he's making some noise.
A long right hand that tagged Angulo. That got him. Boy, that came from way out. Left uppercut on the inside of the chin of Diaz. That snapped his head back. That right uppercut missed by Angulo. Angulo now to the body.
Which man will make a bigger impact with their body work, and which one will do it sooner, Steve? Both men have been committed to that. Look, there's Angulo going downstairs.
Punch out, tienen golpe pesante.
Wow. And Diaz, man, these are good body shots.
And this is not a surprise to Juan Diaz, because he looked at the tapes like we did.
Yep.
He knew that this kid was going to offer back.
Welcome to America, Mr. Angulo. You had a good round for yourself.
Oh, big left hook during that exchange by Diaz.
No, stop.
But Angulo stays on his feet. The parents of Diaz, a lot of anxiety there. Fidencio and Olivia. Olivia gets so wound up and so nervous watching her son Juan. It's very, very difficult for her.
And when a round like that happens, it makes it even more tough.
What mom wants to see their son get hit?
All right? I need that jab, baby. All right? I got to have the jab going for me, all right? Now, this round here, let's use the jab. Now, he's right in front of you now. You don't have to look for him. Now you can fight your fight, all right? Everything behind the jab, straight punches, combinations, all right? When he's throwing a wide shot.
The right hand landing from Diaz, that was a good straight right hand, and tries to chop with it again. That coming in a round in which Angulo had his good moments, but this right hand was one of the better punches for Diaz in that round.
Dry up that water for me, please. Dry that water, please.
But all in all, Angulo had himself a pretty good round.
Fifth title defense for WBA lightweight champion Juan Diaz. Round 6 scheduled for 12. Diaz in the blue trunks with the black trim won the title at age 20. Unanimous decision over Lak Basim in 2004 with 4 successful title defenses. Angulo in his first world title attempt He was rated number 3, that high, but he had some visa problems, couldn't get to the States, and then they pushed him down to number 11. That's where he is now, as rated by the WBA.
Diaz back to using that superb jab, which started out this fight, and he may have abandoned it just a little in a couple rounds.
Well, every time Diaz throws, Angulo just comes right back, but Diaz the one who's scoring more. Diaz trying to take the steam out of Angulo. Big miss there by Angulo, and that too will expend energy. But Diaz just never lets up. But look, the right uppercut scored by Angulo. Didn't have a lot behind it, but he made contact.
And after a more difficult round 5, Diaz has turned up the volume here in this round. It's just wicked body shots by Diaz.
And that seems almost impossible when you say that. He's turned up the volume.
1 point, holding. 1 point.
Well, to make matters worse.
1 point, holding. Si dejas ir cuando te digo, no es holding. Okay? Deja ir cuando te digo. Here we go. Time
Did you see a warning?
No, I did not. But Raul Caiz Jr. taking a point away from Angulo for the hold.
Punch out. Hands out. Déjalo ir. Ahí está.
See, that's the time and about when you got to ask yourself, this guy comes over here from South America, and all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a point taken away from him for holding. Now, this happens all the time in fights in the United States, and I have to be honest, it's disconcerting. It makes you look like they're willing to wait for the guy.
It's an interesting point. I did not see a warning.
Yeah, no. I mean, you know, we saw it when Robin Reed came over to fight Jeff Lacey. We've seen it a lot of times. Now Juan Diaz is getting the job done.
What a left hand that was during that series of punches by Diaz. The big left.
Okay, stop. Ahí estamos.
That was the breakthrough punch there in that sequence.
Manos libres, ahí están. Están listos.
Good round for Juan Diaz anyway, and now he gets the benefit of that call of holding. So a litmus test right now for Angulo to get past this adversity.
Oh, right hand to the top of the head by Diaz. And you know what? Angulo didn't even budge.
He's a tough guy. But Juan Diaz having himself a terrific round 6.
Angulo trying to dig to the body. Look at the speed, the hand speed of Juan Diaz.
Here's the protector. Give me the protector. Where's the protector? Okay, here's the protector. All right, now we got to step it up in this round. Let's go.
Well, let's take a look at when he was had the point taken away for holding. They're on the inside working. He does grab him there, that's true.
Now, there is a chance, of course, we didn't catch it, that earlier Caiz warned him.
Yeah, it is possible, that's for sure. I just still think it's precipitous. Good work by Diaz. This was a round in which he did some phenomenal work to both the body and the head. And it wasn't as if Angulo wasn't busy. Look, he throws lots of punches. They don't land. There's that signature left hook to the body by Diaz. He throws it as well as anybody in boxing.
Round 7 scheduled for 12 for the WBA Lightweight Championship here in Chase Field. What a setting. Phoenix, Arizona. Liakhovich Briggs coming up in our main event for the WBO heavyweight belt. Nice right uppercut on the inside by Angulo. Diaz again, as usual, coming forward. Nice snapping left hand. Got Angulo right on the head.
You know, Angulo has tried very hard in this match to establish his jab. He's thrown many of them, but they've most of them have been blocked by Diaz or he slipped them. This is vintage Juan Diaz, isn't it, Steve? The constant pressure and even better defense, certainly, than he had early on.
And he looks solid here, and he really wants to impress. He wants to get by Angulo, although Angulo's very stubborn. and then really step it up. As you look at press row scoring, it's all Diaz. As you check out our unofficial numbers, 60-53 across the board, all in favor of the champion.
I have it 59-54, so I too have a big edge for Diaz.
Here at the halfway point, body shot there by Diaz. What else is new?
Yeah, and that was a beautiful body shot. Now Angulo switching lefty momentarily here to see if that would change his fortunes.
Yeah, I didn't see him do that on the tapes.
There you go.
This is something, a new wrinkle. Now he's trying to experiment with it.
I wonder if Diaz knew he might do that. But it doesn't seem to matter.
And in this case, it seems more like an act of frustration or desperation. And this particular style we're seeing is not what Angulo is most comfortable with. He would rather be moving forward and being aggressive. So to be this kind of boxer, not necessarily his game.
You see, it says La Fiera, the wild animal, on the front of Angulo's trunks. It says La Brea. This is a good left hand, a long left. Another jab by Diaz. These jabs are like right hands from other people. They're hard. Angulo trained at La Brea Gym in LA for about 10 weeks, so that's why it says that on the back. That jab is beautiful by Juan Diaz, and he goes to it repeatedly. There it is again.
This is as solid and complete a performance as Juan Diaz could have asked for.
The jab is so effective. I mean, it's a rangefinder to set up a heavy power shot. It's a weapon in itself. Keeps your opponent off balance, out of his rhythm. It's just such a fantastic weapon, and he uses it so well. There it is again. That got Angulo off balance that time, the jab.
Done. I see it.
The jab of Juan Diaz has just been spectacular. He puts it out there, and it's multiple jabs. He doesn't just throw one. He sticks that jab out there, and he'll continue to do it to Angulo throughout the round. There it is again. And those were spectacular. I mean, those are 3 straight jabs that not just landed, but Steve, as you point out, they're kind of like a right hand or a power punch from somebody. And in every phase, he's improved his game tonight.
Well, you just saw what I saw as Angulo spit into the bucket. Nothing but blood. And that's the result of Juan Diaz's punishment that he has dished out throughout the night. Boy, that just cascaded out of his mouth. Round 8. I don't mean to be graphic, but that's boxing, especially with Juan Diaz.
Diaz was so aware that this was, like a trap fight, kind of like a trap football game for a team that's looking ahead or after a big win. He said, I'm not going to let this guy do that to me and take him lightly. I'm going to prepare as well as I could possibly do so, and he has. And I think watching tapes of Angulo was a big help to him. Not every fighter does it, and I don't really understand why.
Boy, if you're wondering how does Diaz stay focused, how does he stay hungry with all these other interests, trying to get a law degree? Well, just look at him tonight. Does that answer your question?
He's probably living at home. He doesn't have to worry about that. His mom does the laundry. She does all his stuff. He really is a delightful young man.
They do. They're very disciplined and very strict. He has to be asleep at 10 p.m.
Especially during the training, of course. And, in this round, a perfect example of Angulo throwing a lot of punches, but just not being effective. He's just not landing as well as he would like. And he's been forced to play the role of boxer and mover. And while he's capable of doing that, Angulo, it's not what he's most comfortable with.
Angulo has been on the retreat most of the way, which is uncharacteristic for him. Diaz just continues to come forward, stalking Angulo. Got him there right on the forehead with the right, then the left jab, another beautiful jab. That was a weapon jab by Diaz. It pushed Angulo back. That's how strong that jab was.
Yeah, if there's one punch in this fight that has I think, stood out, even above the left hooks to the body and the head. It's been that jab, because that's a weapon that, while Diaz has used it in the past, hasn't always been as effective as he would like it to be.
Angulo's right eye beginning to swell. His corner claimed it was from a Diaz thumb.
Good work on the inside by Diaz.
But it's really Diaz's left jab that's just repeatedly landing.
He's one of the reasons why this lightweight division, even with its defections of the Corrales and the Castillos, looks very, very interesting, with the Casamayores and Freitas is still hanging around, and other fighters like Julio Diaz and Jesus Chavez. Now we see a clash of heads.
Heads came together. What happened there was Diaz looked away for a second. I think he thought Raul Calles Jr. was going to give him an instruction, and Angulo let fly.
Stop! Break! Hasta para atrás cuando digo break. Box! 5 seconds, 5 segundos. Tiempo.
So with Angulo's right eye beginning to close.
Getting desperate now.
They sit down.
All right? It's getting desperate, so you got to watch your head now. All right? Look, one. The jab is going to keep it moving, all right? When he stops, when you get close, start shooting uppercuts. I'm telling you. All you got to do is shoot the uppercuts. He can't stop it. He ain't going to be able to grab nothing if you shoot them uppercuts, all right? So when you go down to the body, he's going to grab you every time, but you just keep shooting.
Angulo is trying his best to throw combinations as Diaz comes in, but you see how many of those punches either missed or were blocked. And you see Angulo there's an example. Nothing really landing flush for Angulo, and instead it's Diaz's punches, very, very accurate in that sequence. So that was this fight in microcosm, really. And there where the head hit Diaz and sent his head reeling back. And, the referee went in to take a peek.
The damage to eye of Angulo.
Box!
We enter round 9, scheduled for 12. There's that left jab by Diaz right in the damaged eye area of Angulo. But you're right, that was a great replay. You could see where Diaz was clearly head-butted. It may have been unintentional, but nevertheless, it hurts.
Yeah, it sure does.
Now Angulo with right eye closing, trying his hand at the jab.
Now we're into round 9 here, and Angulo certainly way behind on the scorecards. Remember, in addition, a point being deducted in round 6, so that's a 2-point round. So he needs to make something very dramatic happen. And we look at the press row scoring. They certainly all agree with me. I have it 79-72. They have it 80-71. Point is that Diaz is way ahead in this match. And for Angulo, he's got to land something major. And if I was him on the inside, I would keep trying that uppercut a little bit more. That punch worked for him earlier.
So Juan Diaz overmatching Angulo, although Angulo is game. There's no question about that.
And throwing punches. So it's not as if he's given up on this fight in any way, shape, or form. He's still throwing some excellent body shots. It's just I don't know that that's going to be enough to get the job done for him.
Except for one problem, and I'm going to give you the dollar right now. Too many wild pitches.
Okay. I just made $1, folks. This is good.
Here's a jab by Angulo.
Work inside, ahí están.
Give that back to me, please.
Angulo throwing, now they're straight punches from Angulo. When he throws the straight punches, he can get them in, but so many of them have been wide and looping.
And now right hand over the top by Diaz. There's that jab of Diaz. Another beautiful jab by Juan Diaz.
The reason, beautiful body shot by Angulo. You know, it's not that he hasn't gotten some things done in this fight. It's just that the pressure of Diaz is so relentless, and Diaz has done a better defensive job than he sometimes does, and so Angulo's not been able to get everything done.
Welcome to the world title stage, Fernando Angulo. Juan Diaz continues his assault.
Stop. Here we go. Break.
So many missed punches by Angulo in this fight.
Right hand off the top of the head by Diaz. And the jab by Diaz. Diaz now just beating Angulo. The old expression, from pillar to post.
10 segundos, 10 seconds, gentlemen.
Final seconds of round 9. Right uppercut on the inside, nicely done by Angulo. He certainly doesn't give up with that right eye continuing to be a problem.
Tenth round, it's an even fight. You can't exchange with him. I want to see what the doctor says now about his eye. He's okay, he's okay. Keep breathing, keep breathing. You got to surprise him, you got to surprise him. It's the 10th round. You can't let him work. You got to surprise him. You still have to do the work. You still have to do the work. You're doing it well.
Well, they may think it's an even fight in there, but inside the ring doesn't look so even. Good chopping right hand, and Angulo kind of in desperation whipping big combinations. A couple of those punches got in, but and that's the straight right hand by Angulo. He doesn't throw it straight for Alvin. The jab of Diaz has been punishing from the beginning of this fight, and that one a good example.
Well, just for the, excuse me, Al, just for the record, Angulo does have 2 late round knockouts, one in round 10, one in round 11. One, in fact, was over Diaz, Ahmet Diaz. But he certainly wasn't a fighter of one's caliber.
No, not related.
Well, watch feet.
I don't know if they really think the fight is even.
I was just thinking about that. That was Andres Montañez, who's trained many top fighters in Venezuela, highly regarded in Venezuela. In fact, his son, a good middleweight prospect, but that may have just been just a cheerleading ploy, just something for Angulo's confidence, because obviously it's not even close.
I can't imagine they're seeing it that way. And it's not that their man hasn't thrown a lot of punches and been active. And there's that body work. He's done phenomenal body work, Angulo, during the portions of this fight, but it pales in comparison to what Diaz has done. And there you see all those blocked to the head, then the body he gets in. Now this round's a perfect example. He's winning this round, Angulo, with those body shots, because Diaz hasn't landed as much as he normally has in this fight.
And when was the last time you saw a clinch in this fight? That was like the first one. Took all the way to round 10.
This is the best round Angulo has had since the 5th round.
Well, Montañez's strategy perhaps working psychologically on Angulo, because he is having a good round.
He's having an excellent round. His body work's been superb. He's been very active. He's landed more punches through up the middle than he has in the rest of this fight.
Good body shot there by Diaz.
Now he's doing a lot of holding now, Angulo. Yep. Now I can say he's holding.
Had a point taken away earlier for that. Oh, what a left-right combination. And both punches landed by Diaz. And now on the inside, the uppercut. Diaz. Little holding and hitting. Been pretty much non-stop action, that's for sure. One-sided affair in favor of Diaz, but a lot of action.
Here we go, break.
And here in round 10, Diaz has made something of a comeback. I just don't know if it's enough for him to win this 10th round, because there's some more good work downstairs by Angulo.
Here comes Diaz again.
Here we go.
Juan Diaz, who has dominated this fight, looking for his 5th title defense.
At age 23. Not often you can say that, huh?
Yep. Wilfred Benitez, who turned pro at 15. Won the 140-pound title at 17. Roberto Duran turned pro at 15. Won the title at 21. Here, Angulo trapped against the ropes. Diaz to the bottom. We're at Chase Field, home of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The folks are getting ready for the main event. I had only seen this ballpark on TV. This is an enormous structure, isn't it?
Oh, it's massive, and nice ballpark.
Retractable roof comes in handy on those extremely hot summer Phoenix nights. And it's only about 6 minutes it takes to raise the roof.
Home to a team that won a World Series here.
Beat the Yankees in 7.
Yes, indeed.
try to get lucky and hit you with something, all right? But don't keep your hands high, move your head. That's all. No, nothing. Forget about the knockout. Yeah. All right?
Yeah,
let's just keep working, all right?
You got 6 minutes, Juan. You go all day long in the gym.
Jab, Juan.
Well, they call this the championship rounds. Round 11. They say there are no moral victories in sports, but somewhat of a moral victory for Angulo. His first trip to the United States, his first world title fight, getting Juan Diaz to the championship rounds.
And I think a big factor, and we talked about it, is while he fought some pretty good fighters like Eloy Rojas, a former champion, although when he fought him he was 37, he won a split decision. In the last year or two with the 11-month layoff, not having fought the kind of competition that was at this level, that's a big minus for him. Nice right hand by Diaz.
Big right hand off the top of Angulo's head. Both showing they're in excellent, exquisite condition.
Stop! Here we go. No punch. Here we go. Box.
Long right hand again by Diaz that connected. Another one. Boy, he's got that down. That's 3 times he's been able to score on that long right, Diaz.
He's improved every portion of his arsenal, and the right hand's a good example. He's not by trade that much of a right-handed puncher, but we've seen that punch in this fight be very compact, short, and have some pop.
Stop! Break! There you go. Box.
Diaz's jab looking good throughout. Body shots, left hook.
Work inside. Let's go. Punch in there. Let's go.
Showing a lot. Oh, nice right uppercut on the inside by Diaz. Showing a lot more boxing ability than we've seen in the past.
You know, Angulo has never stopped throwing punches in this fight, has he? His punch output is extraordinary here in round 11. It's just that he's not getting enough done with those punches.
And the crowd chanting Diaz's name. Nice following here in Phoenix. Angulo with some good work there.
Yep. Had his moments in these last couple of rounds. I thought he won round 10.
1 minute to go in the 11th.
Stop! Here we go. Break! There we go. That's all right. Let's go. There you go. There we go. Take a breather. Let's go. Break! Punch out. There you go.
We watched Angulo leading into this fight, I think we expected this kind of action. I think the wild card here that's made this a more one-sided match, even though, as you point out, Steve, there's been a lot of back and forth, is the fact that Diaz has fought so well defensively. So much so that Angulo's not been able to get anything done. And so I think it's made it more one-sided than we thought it might be.
Well, he said one of his objectives coming to this fight was to try to cut down on getting hit, and he's doing the hitting here.
And he's hurting Angulo in this round.
Stop! No, so here
Angulo just holding on. Angulo's right eye all but shut. Tremendous swelling around the right eye of Angulo. That's a product of the very effective jab all night by this man, Juan Diaz.
Round, okay? Look, let me tell you something. If you want to knock this guy out, okay, you're going to have to do it using your jab, getting close to him, and then start leading off with uppercuts, then turn your hook over, okay? Uppercuts first and then hook. But jab first, all right? Come on, baby, just give me that jab first, all right? That's all I need.
Don't.
Okay, give me a deep breath under my slow.
Don't get caught.
All right, everything is good. Look, don't let this guy get lucky. Fight smart, okay? Be smart this round, all right? Everything behind the jab. As soon as you get close, start shooting him uppercut, then start turning a double hook over, okay? Everything is good.
Juan Diaz had a superb round in round 11, landing those big hooks. And on the inside, very, very effective.
There's his mom. Even though he's way ahead, you wouldn't know it looking at Olivia Diaz, would you?
She does not look like the mom of the son who is winning.
What a strain that is on her. They touch gloves for round 12. You can just see it in her eyes, in her face. Please retire and become a lawyer.
At some point he hopes to do. Well, the lightweight division, we touched on it, filled with a lot of interesting fighters. This man is one of them. Julio Diaz and Jesus Chavez will fight for the IBF title. Casamaro, we saw win the WBC title. David Diaz lurking there in that. A very fine fighter from Chicago. Aslino Freitas thinking about not retiring now and hanging around. So
there's a shocker. A boxer coming out of retirement.
It's never happened before. And his lasted about 10 days.
That was one of the longer ones.
Let go. There you go. Get your arm out. There you go.
Final round.
Blue skies ahead, they believe, for Juan Diaz, and this performance does nothing but help him. It's been just a superb effort on his part.
Well, he's got Corrales and Castillo out of the way. They're moving up in weight. And now Juan Diaz in a tremendous position to take the initiative and become the man at 135 pounds.
Let's go.
He's got to get Casamayor out of the way.
Let him go. Let him go. Let's go. Box.
Jesus Chavez. It won't be easy, but he certainly has the ability.
Punch out there. Let's go. Hands are free. Let's go. Box. Break.
Diaz looking to make it 31-0. And that was sage advice from two-time world title challenger Ronnie Shields. Just keep using that jab. Don't do anything foolish.
No,
Here in the 12th round, you're way ahead.
Stop. Break. There you go. There you go. Box.
Nice uppercut on the inside by Diaz.
Punch out.
If nothing else, a very game effort by the South American.
Box.
Fernando Angulo. I don't think he's embarrassed himself at all here this evening. 11-month layoff. He was not fighting, I don't believe, the kind of competition before that would get him ready for Diaz. And so given all that, we see this young man at age 25 that has certain skills and toughness. He should get a chance at boxing center stage again.
We approach 30 seconds remaining in the final round here. Juan Diaz on the threshold of his 5th successful title defense at the tender age of 23.
He couldn't be happier with this performance. He has shown so many different skills that he's been working on.
Such a varied arsenal. Great repertoire. And you made a good point, really improving on his defense. That's it. And Angulo walking very gingerly to his corner. He got beaten up by this man, Juan Diaz.
Donkey! Break me up with the chains! Look at that holding me.
Hey, Brad. I got
Hold that side.
What Juan thinks if he looks down there and sees his mom.
Fernando, mira.
That'll be rough.
It's just, every time I kept trying. Hold on.
It's Willie Savannah there.
Great.
Longtime manager Willie Savannah, who has to be extremely happy.
That was real tough.
The story of this fight is the pressure of Juan Diaz, but there's another more subtle story as well. It's not just the pressure of Diaz, but it's how effectively it was used and how it was used without putting himself in harm's way, as he has sometimes in the past. Coming forward, throwing lots of punches, but also taking care to defend better. You see him slip a punch and then throw the lead right hand. There were right hands, there were hooks, and oh boy, were there jabs. There's one that operated just like a straight right hand. So this fight in brevity.
That's when the referee, I think, took a point away from him because I hurt him real bad.
So the baby bull rolls on. Juan Diaz. The question is, where does he go from here? We're set for the decision. We get it up to our ring announcer, Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, after 12 rounds of action, we have a unanimous decision. Here are the score totals. Judge at ringside, Raul Caiz Sr. scores the bout 116 to 111. Judges at ringside, Gerald Maltz and Luis Pabon both score the bout 118 to 109. All three in favor of the winner. Still undefeated and still the WBA lightweight champion of the world, Juan Baby Bull Diaz.
So a shutout for Juan Diaz, and finally Olivia can smile.
Boy, thank goodness.
It's gut-wrenching for her. You look over her, you feel for her. Juan Diaz now 31-0, his 5th successful defense of the title.
There was my man here.
And coming up next from right here at Chase Field in downtown Phoenix, Arizona, it's our main event. It'll be Sergei Liakhovich making his first defense of the WBO heavyweight belt, facing Shannon Briggs. A lot of question marks surrounding the veteran Briggs, but no questioning his power. Will it be enough against the skilled Liakhovich, who clearly proved his bravery and ability to take a big punch in the win over Lehman Brewster? The trash-talking Briggs, who says he'll bring luster back to the division, has tried to get inside Liakhovich's head with the taunts and the insults. The mild-mannered Liakhovich, who's tried to ignore Briggs, calls him a punk and an idiot. Liakhovich Briggs up next. Right now, set for post-fight reaction from our first bout. Up we go to Jim Gray. Jim?
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Juan, congratulations. This may be a bad punt, but what's it like to pitch a shutout?
I mean, you know, my performance was, it was okay tonight. You know, I tried to fight. The guy was holding me a lot. He was a tough guy, though. I got to give him credit for that. He was real tough. He could take a good punch.
Was this perhaps your best performance just based on everything that you were able to accomplish tonight?
I think so. I think, you know, I've been getting guys like Jose Cotto, Randy Suico, who are tremendous punchers. They're great boxers, and you know, Fernando Angulo was a great boxer as well. It's just a little different type of technique. So I'm glad that I got him in there and I got the victory, because it was showed me something different.
Do you ever look over and see what your mom is going through, what Olivia's going through during this fight?
You know, I look at it when I get home, and I'm like, Mom, you know, I try to give her some of them pills that relax you, but she won't take them. I'm like, Mom, you know.
I think the only thing that's going to relax her is if you get that law degree and get out of boxing. Are you going to consider that?
I think so. I mean, in the future right now, you know, my main objective is to unify the division, the lightweight division, and be on top like the great Julio Cesar Chavez did at one point.
So who would you like to take on next in that division?
I want to take any other champion. You know, I feel that I'm ready. Now I fought him my first fight under Don King. I know he can make things happen, and that's the plan, to unify the division.
Well, if you can make things happen, Don, what's your plan?
Well, if we can make things happen, we'll fight the winner of the Jesus Chavez and Julio Diaz, and then we'll fight Casameo or whichever order they come in. You know,
will this all be on Showtime?
It's going to be on Showtime. There's a great champion. In fact, we hope to be on the Super Bowl weekend. You know what I mean? Really put him in there where a star-studded performer should be. That's what he is, him and Willie Savannah.
Juan, congratulations to you. It's great to see you back.
I want to tell my parents I love them very much. Y un saludo a toda la raza de Guerrero y de Atlanta.
Hey, Juan, I just want to ask you, before we go back to the other guys, you know, while you got all these other things that you're attending to, you have so many other interests, and you have so many other things that are going good in your life. You're so well-spoken. You're so intelligent. How do you keep your focus on boxing?
My mom and that sandal of hers that she like, look, I got the sandal right here for you if you don't listen to me.
You know,
that's what keeps me in line.
I'm going to take him and his mom to Mordecai the jeweler in Las Vegas and get them something. If your mom been doing that, she need a sparkling stone.
Well, Don, if you took one of them off your neck, for crying out loud, you must weigh about 20 more pounds. You don't need to go to Weight Watchers or anything. Take one off and give him one now.
To Mordecai the jeweler in Las Vegas, Nevada, and get them a stone, because they both are shining.
That's true, and he's got a beautiful belt to prove it. Congratulations, Juan.
Thank you very much, Jim. Right. Glad to be back.
Glad to have you back. All right, let's go back to Steve and Al.
All right, Jim, thank you so much. The very personable Juan Diaz, totally dominating here. He threw a shutout, won every round. Let's see how the scoring went for Diaz Angulo. Raul Caiz Sr. had a 116-111. Gerald Maltz 118-109. Luis Pabon 118-109. And as far as the press row scorers were concerned, they had it a complete shutout. Norm Frauenheim, Darren Nichols, and William Stickney Jr.
And I had a 118-109 as well for Diaz, so I had it lopsided.
All right, so a one-sided victory for Juan Diaz, who retains his WBA lightweight championship. And before we continue our coverage from Phoenix, let's show you what happened last night in Atlantic City on ShoBox, the new generation. Undefeated welterweights opened the show as Shimon Alvarez squared off with Enrique Gutierrez. Alvarez scored a pivotal flash knockdown in the first round, but Gutierrez turned up the heat later in the fight. At the end of 8 rounds, Alvarez hangs on and wins a majority decision. Then in the main event, undefeated Isaac Lachueo took on Kendall Holt. Holt showed speed, power, and excellent ring movement, knocking down Lachueo in the 9th, 11th, and 12th rounds. On his way to a unanimous decision and the NABO super lightweight title. ShoBox is back on Friday, November 17th at 11 p.m. Eastern and Pacific as Enrique Ornelas faces Sam Solomon in an intriguing 10-round middleweight fight. Also that night, a battle of unbeaten heavyweights with 2003 Golden Gloves champion Travis Freight Train Walker against 2004 U.S. Olympian Jason Bit Six Estrada. Then Friday, December 1st, we bring you another battle of unbeatens. Featherweights Mario Santiago versus Rasheem Jefferson. Showtime Championship Boxing returns to America's Fight Night on Saturday, December 2nd at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific with a welterweight showcase. Miguel Cotto battles Carlos Quintana for the vacant WBA welterweight championship. And Antonio Margarito defends his WBO crown against Joshua Clottey. We are really looking forward to next month, which will feature a pair of dynamic fighters in separate bouts. That's December 2nd from the Boardwalk in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito, they'll co-headline our World Championship doubleheader. And now that is indeed a terrific showcase of a couple of welterweight stars.
Really looking forward to it. 2 fighters who have exciting take-no-prisoners kind of style, both Margarito and Cotto. And Cotto and Carlos Quintana, that fight getting a lot of buzz because Carlos Quintana is an undefeated young fighter who many believe is going to be very difficult for Cotto, who, while he is great offensive firepower, as we well know, has some defensive liabilities. And a quick word about that ShoBox show. That's going to be a lot of fun. 2 really good fighters there, and Sam Solomon has been in with the best middleweights in the world, and he's facing young undefeated middleweight. It should be a fun one.
All right, Al, so that's the boxing coming up on Showtime in the months ahead. Up next, our main event, Liakhovich versus Briggs for the WBO heavyweight title. But first, here's a word about some of the original series here on Showtime.
The critics say Dexter is killer.
This is unique.
It's the best new series on cable or network.
Open your eyes and look at what you did!
4 stars. It's impossible to resist.
Thanks. You have a morbid sense of fun.
That's probably true.
A classic in the making.
I'm a lucky guy.
See you at the next bloodbath?
Never miss a party.
Dexter. Tomorrow at 10 p.m. with replays throughout the week.
Attack happens, where will you be? Sleeper Cell, American Terror, premiering Sunday, December 10th, only on Showtime.
It's Boxing Under the Stars on a beautiful, very comfortable night here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. The temperature in the high 70s. The crowd settling in for the first heavyweight championship fight in the history of this city. And sparks are expected in our main event as Sergei Liakhovich will defend his WBO heavyweight crown against the dangerous Shannon Briggs. And yes, tensions are high as there is mutual disdain. Earlier tonight, our Jim Gray spoke with the challenger.
Steve, thank you. Back here with Shannon Briggs. Shannon, Do you consider this to some degree your last hurrah?
Not at all. I mean, you know, I've been around a long time, but I'm a lot younger than people assume me to be. I'm 34. They got me like listed as 44, basically, in people's mind. But I mean, I'm here for tonight. I'm not even thinking about tomorrow.
How many times in the past did you think you'd get an opportunity like this again after you lost to Lewis?
I knew I'd get a chance because I knew, all I had to do was stay busy and fight my way back to the top. It was a hard road back, but I did it. I'm here.
In your mind, how would you assess your career? Many have thought that maybe you've been an underachiever.
Overachiever. I was a guy who, sick all my life. I basically didn't go to school because I had asthma, and where I came from, it was rough. And I'm way out of the ghetto. I'm way out of the hood. I'm feeling good about that, and I'm doing good for myself. I got a great family, 2 beautiful children. I'm doing great.
Shannon, how much hope does it give you when you see a guy like Miskeyev win a championship at 37, and when he can capture it, do you think in your mind, hey, it's out there for me?
Well, 37 is old, man. I mean, young. I'm sorry, 37 is young. I always felt like, look, when I beat George Foreman, I became heavyweight champion of the world. People don't like to give me the credit for it, but I did. I lost the linear championship to Lennox, and I knew one day I'd be champion again, and it's going to be tonight.
Shannon, let's take a look at the press conference and the weigh-in that occurred on Wednesday. It got pretty agitated between you and Sergei. Tell us just exactly what was happening here, because there was an exchange of words, and as this tape continues to roll on, he's going to point at you and you're going to have a reaction. So what exactly was the problem here?
I was trying to get under his skin. Basically, I got under his skin from day one because I realized that he was a guy who gets frustrated. I watched his fights early on in his career. He's a guy who's not mentally strong, so I wanted to get under his skin and make him do something stupid, and I think I did a great job at that.
In the process, were you too disrespectful?
I don't think so, not at all. I mean, I'm never disrespectful. I mean, this is boxing, this is the fight sport, but you can't cross the line, but I don't think I did it at all.
All right, let's take a listen. You don't think that was a bit over the edge there, huh?
Well, that was a little harsh, but at the same time, that was heat of the moment. I don't even remember that. Basically, I spazzed out. But hey, listen, it happens, man. I'm here for a championship. He has something I want, and I'm taking it.
Was a family program up until then. Shannon, good evening. Good luck to you this evening.
Thank you, sir.
All right, let's go back out to you, Steve.
All right, thanks to Jim Gray earlier tonight with Shannon Briggs. You can always count on Briggs to talk boldly, and he's acted boldly at the press conferences leading up to tonight. Will it spill over when the bell sounds? Sergei Liakhovich does his fighting in the ring, not at press conferences. He surprised a lot of folks by outlasting the big punching Lehman Brewster, but Liakhovich's success hasn't surprised the fighter himself. The confident champion has turned his dreams into reality.
It's when I start doing my amateur career, I told to myself, if someday I will become world champion. So, dream come true.
Dreams. They inspire fighters during the long, lonely hours in the gym and sustain them through the harsh punishments of the ring. For Sergei Liakhovich, the dreams of being a world champion began long ago in an industrial city in the former Soviet Union.
I came from Belarus, and I have working family. It's my father, construction worker, and my mother, she's worked. And I was 12, and my father told me, how about you try boxing? Okay, so I tried, I like it.
In pursuit of his dream, he excelled in the amateur ranks.
I was in Olympic team in 1996. I represent Belarus. And I won bronze medal in World Championships in 1997 in Budapest.
Despite his fame, Liakhovich could not forge a pro career in Belarus. So he left the only life he knew to migrate to Phoenix, Arizona.
I miss a lot my family, my sister, my father, my mother, and all my family.
But in the Valley of the Sun, far from his native Belarus, he met and married Irina, a Russian-born woman. She has provided love, support, and a link to the world he left behind.
It's like starting from zero. You really have to make new friends, new places. It's really all different, and the culture is different, relationships, people around you, everything is different. And that's one of the sacrifices you do. You have to know your goal and you have to do whatever it takes to reach it.
As his personal life flourished, so did his professional career as he rose through the heavyweight ranks. Earlier this year, Liakhovich met WBO champion Layman Brewster in what could be the heavyweight fight of the year. What a slugfest! Furious pace for big men, non-stop action. In the 7th round, Liakhovich was hurt, and his dreams of a championship were in jeopardy.
Some guy inside you tells you this. So when you see this one guy, bad guy, and one good guy, and bad guy said to you, man, just you need to stop, don't do this no more. And another guy, you know, it's a good guy who said, you need to do a little bit more. So and I push myself.
And push himself he did.
Liakhovich with a breakthrough. Big action here for Liakhovich.
At the end of the 12th round, the fight went to the cards.
Winner and new WBO heavyweight champion of the world.
This is just great feelings. Great feelings. It's hard to explain these feelings. It's great. I realize it's my dream come true.
By defeating Layman Brewster in one of the year's best fights, Sergei Liakhovich introduced himself with an exclamation point. Now he's looking to establish consistency and build to a multi-million-dollar unification fight. Now, ring-wise, just how formidable are Liakhovich's skills, being mindful that Briggs has had problems with technically savvy guys?
I think you can make the case that Liakhovich is the most skilled in terms of fundamentals of any of the 4 heavyweight champions, that's for sure. But Liakhovich does have a few unconventional things that make him kind of a hybrid of a standard Eastern European fighter and the more freewheeling American type style that we see. Did I say freewheeling? Well, Shannon Briggs is that for sure. He's in a seek and destroy mode these days that has produced 11 straight wins by stoppages. But tonight there are some technique issues he needs to consider. One of those issues is keeping his hands up, especially his left. He can eat right hands. Briggs says he has the stamina to win a decision. I'm not sure. I think he needs to go for a KO. Liakhovich loves to lead with a right to the body, and you have to counter that punch with a left hook. And Briggs can throw that punch. When Joseph Akin was short with this right hand, Briggs would counter beautifully with his own left hook. And this created a knockdown. Even if he doesn't hurt Liakhovich doing this, he has to counter to take away the right to the body. When tall heavyweights use their stand-up style against Briggs, it works. Leaning in is a bad idea. Liakhovich took early risks against Layman Brewster. That was a mistake. It would be tonight as well. Briggs' Achilles heel is standing straight with his hands down. Liakhovich can land the right hand. Liakhovich did a masterful job of using the jab against Layman Brewster, and it set up the right hand. He needs to use this often against Briggs, and it may lead to this finishing left hook. Liakhovich showing that he is a polished and schooled boxer.
So we close in on what the locals are calling Arizona's biggest sports spectacle since Game 7 of the 2001 World Series on these same grounds and on the same calendar day, November the 4th. The engaging Shannon Briggs with his trademark gold dreadlocks and beard coming into Marvin Gaye's Let's Get It On. Briggs, another one of those compelling stories. Born premature at 3 pounds, a sickly child. Hard to believe looking at the man today. From the tough Brownsville section of Brooklyn, as a kid, he and his mom would wander the streets homeless, sleeping on trains and shelters. His mom died of a drug overdose. His stepdad died in prison. A boxing career of promise, expectations, missed opportunities, excuses, seemed destined for greatness, but distractions, inconsistency, nasty splits with trainers, chasing an acting career, reducing Briggs to a perennial contender. Al, it took Shannon Briggs 8 years to get back here on the world title stage, and if he doesn't do it tonight, the consensus is he'll never get another chance.
Well, you know, with all that drama you said acted out, it's amazing. He pointed out he's 34. Most people think he's 40. He makes the point that most heavyweight contenders these days are at least that age or older. And so with his power, he walks in here with the same chance that some others who have gotten the job done have.
And he walks in with some very interesting specs.
Yeah, he does.
In the past, Briggs has had issues with stamina, weight, training habits. He claims he's fixed. He's fixed it all, that he's sparred 110 rounds, and we'll soon see if it all pays off in a fight that could change the life of Shannon Briggs. In sharp contrast to the gregarious, outspoken challenger, the reserved, understated champion Sergei Liakhovich. Getting some nice reaction from the crowd. He resides in nearby Scottsdale, Arizona, the past 7 years. We were wondering coming in about the hometown advantage. The boxing community certainly took notice of his thrilling upset of Layman Brewster to lift the title, but we wondered if it would resonate with the fans, even the ones right here in his own backyard. They salute him as he makes his way in. Tough to anoint a guy based on one fight, Al. And tonight the pressure is on Liakhovich to prove he's more than a one-hit wonder.
Well, you know what? He comes in here, though, off a performance against Layman Brewster that I think was very, very special, and he served notice that he has the kind of skills and resolve that could very well make him a major player for years in the heavyweight division.
The last time Sergei Liakhovich was in the ring, he was in what many consider the fight of the year. The big question now, how does he follow it up tonight? His lovely wife, Irina, we saw earlier in the feature, so supportive of Sergei. She's been here about 13 years. She was a journalist back in the Ukraine and became an interior designer here in the United States, and here is where she met Sergei.
A delightful lady who's a very important force not only in his life but in his career as well.
So they're a team, Sergei and Irina Liakhovich. Let's size them up now as we go to the tail of the tape. Briggs turns 35 in exactly a month, nearly 5 years older than Liakhovich. Big heavyweights, both stand 6'4", and a 30-pound difference at 268. Briggs actually down from his career heaviest, 273, his last fight, and Briggs with a whopping 80-inch reach has a 5.5-inch advantage there. And the key unified rules for this world title affair: there's no standing 8 count, no 3 knockdown rule. A fighter cannot be saved by the bell in any round. If an accidental headbutt causes a fight to end within 4 rounds, it's a no decision. After 4 rounds, they go to the scorecards. And if a punch causes a cut and the injured fighter can't continue, he loses by TKO. So here at Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona, getting ready for our main event, Sergei Liakhovich versus Shannon Briggs for the WBO Heavyweight Championship. Let's get the official introductions from our ring announcer, the classy Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we welcome you to Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona for the featured bout of the evening, brought to you by Don King Productions in association with Nemiroff and Showtime. This bout coming away is sanctioned by the World Boxing Organization, the President Francisco Valcarcel, Supervisor John Duggan, along with the Arizona State Boxing Commission, the Chairwoman Mary Rose Wilcox, Commissioners Richard Saunders and Lionel Ruiz. The Director of Boxing is John Montano. Introducing our physicians at ringside, Dr. Charles Howard, Dr. Andrea Herbert, and Dr. Robin McDougall. Timekeepers at the bell, also keeping count of the knockdowns, Martin Dominguez and Bill Buck. Introducing at this time our 3 judges scoring this bout from ringside. From St. Paul, Minnesota, Dennis Nelson. From San Juan, Puerto Rico, Jose Rivera. And from Phoenix, Arizona, Chris Wilson. Introducing our referee in charge, the third man to the ring from Tucson, Arizona, Bobby Ferrara. All right, fans, here we go with our main event of the evening. 12 rounds of boxing for the WBO Heavyweight Championship of the World. And now, ladies and gentlemen in attendance and boxing fans joining us around the world, live from Phoenix, Arizona, it's showtime! Introducing to you first on my left, the challenger, fighting out of the blue corner, wearing black trunks with silver trim. He is fighting out of and representing his hometown of Brooklyn, New York. He weighed in at 268 pounds, undefeated in the past 3.5 years with 11 consecutive knockout victories. His overall record stands at 47 wins, 4 losses, and 1 draw, with 41 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, making a second attempt at a world title, please welcome the challenger and WBO number 3 ranked heavyweight contender, introducing the hard-hitting Shannon the Cannon Briggs. And his opponent across the ring, the defending world champion on my right, fighting out of the red corner, wearing dark green trunks with red trim, fighting out of Scottsdale, Arizona, by way of Vitebsk, Belarus. He weighed in at 238 pounds with a record of 23 wins and 1 loss. He has 14 wins coming by way of knockout. Tonight, ladies and gentlemen, he is making the first defense of his title. Here is the current WBO heavyweight champion of the world, known as the White Wolf, introducing Sergei Liakhovich. Once again, a referee in charge, Bobby Ferrara, now to give instructions.
Sergei, Shannon, we went over the rules in the dressing room. You know what I expect from you, a good, clean fight. Protect yourselves at all times. Trunks are good here. Anything here or lower, it's going to be low blow. Same thing here. Trunks are in good shape. Shake hands. Good luck to you.
The prevailing opinion, if Briggs wins by it'll be by early knockout. Liakhovich can win by KO or decision, but it would be a stretch for Briggs to win on points. Big, tall Sergei Liakhovich, the challenger, looks like he's right out of Central Casting. The massive, physically imposing Shannon Briggs. History would dictate he'd be most dangerous at the outset with 27 of his 41 KOs in the first. But despite all of the pre-fight bravado, Briggs said, don't be surprised if I start out boxing. He does have a very good jab. It may not lead to an early knockout, but it could put Briggs in a position for a knockout. Liakhovich, big, tall. He doesn't do one thing super great, but he does a lot of things really well. Typically not a fast starter, but he says he's ready for anything. And the crowd already growing anxious. 30 seconds in.
Well, he's a very consistent fighter, Liakhovich. You know, one big issue I put in my keys, I thought he should fight tall, use the jab and a straight right hand. He told us, though, at the fighter meeting, he thinks he'd like to get low and get inside against Briggs. We'll see which plan works, his or the one I laid out, and whether he really does use that plan.
A lot of posing here at the outset. Big concern for Briggs is his weight. The longer this fight goes, his conditioning, timing, and hand speed, both being extremely cautious here in the opening minute. Briggs has tried everything to lure Liakhovich into a street fight, and now he finally goes on the attack. Briggs winging with rights, left hooks to the body. And Liakhovich steps back, and a couple of good left hooks to the head by Briggs, then follows it up with 2 right hands to the midsection. Briggs turning it up. A big right hand to the head by Briggs, looking to end it here. Left-right combination to the head by Briggs. He's got Liakhovich trapped on the ropes in the corner, and this is the absolute worst place Liakhovich wants to be.
Early in this fight, you see how Liakhovich starts with the right hand to the body all through the last fight against Brewster. Brewster could not counter that right to the body. Briggs just did, and it hurt Liakhovich. I said it in the keys. It's important to do when you fight Liakhovich, and Briggs did it perfectly, and it created a big advantage here in round one for him. Good tactical move by Briggs.
Very good start for Brooklyn's Shannon Briggs. And now things settle down after that early barrage by the challenger.
All right, let's break.
Liakhovich isn't a big KO puncher, but normally busier than Briggs, has a more varied arsenal than Briggs. But so far, he's been very, very quiet.
Now, we saw, though, how Liakhovich can get past adversity. And Shannon Briggs, a little careful in how he attacked Liakhovich as he got him in some trouble.
He did it intelligently. Got that left hand down real low, does Briggs.
Well, now Sergei Liakhovich knows Briggs has power, that's for sure, but he felt Brewster's power as well.
Do you think Briggs has as much power or more power than Brewster? Where do you rate those two?
I would have rated Brewster a little bit above him, but who knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Where is my... First thing you done was took yourself to the ropes. Listen to me. I know he's strong, right?
He's not fun.
Okay. Listen to me. When you hit them corners, you get your feet moving and get out of there.
Okay.
Don't get in there, drop your hands, and try to be like him.
Okay.
You ain't him.
Okay.
Liakhovich will throw the right to the body and gets countered with the left hook by Briggs. It's what you need to do against Liakhovich, and it is one of the chinks in Liakhovich's armor. Another look, the right goes below, and there's Briggs countering with the left. It was an instinctive move by Shannon Briggs, and it hurt Sergei Liakhovich.
If Liakhovich trades with Briggs, as he did with Brewster, he could be inviting big trouble as they finally get that mouthpiece.
I'm not going to put up with this again. You guys cleared his corner.
Into Briggs, and you hear Bobby Ferreira, I'm not going to put up with this anymore. Boy, it's taken forever. About 15 seconds extra there to get that mouthpiece into Briggs's mouth. And you heard the lecture by Kenny Weldon in the corner of Liakhovich. He said, first thing it did was put yourself on the ropes. That's the worst place. He says, you're not Shannon Briggs.
The Liakhovich jab, which was such an important weapon against Layman Brewster, there it is, has not been that evident. And remember, these early rounds for Liakhovich, what did I say in the keys? Don't take early risks. His mission is to get this into the 7th round, the 6th round, where presumably, based upon previous experience, Shannon Briggs has not been as effective. There's the jab. Shannon Briggs fights in spurts, and that's just the way he does it. It's the way he's always done it. He does it even more now.
We know also Liakhovich is very tough and can take a punch. He's got a lot of heart. He's a good counter puncher, but he's got to be extra careful against the power of Shannon Briggs, who's being very deliberate right here.
Watch that back punch.
There's that lead
Sergei.
right to the body again by Liakhovich. He's courting trouble when he throws that punch because now Briggs knows he can counter it, and he'll keep trying.
And Liakhovich probably feels he can drop Briggs because Briggs does have a suspect chin and suspect heart. So once again, it would be a mistake to trade with Briggs. Very slow pace now.
Liakhovich doing most of what's been done in this round, using the jab and the double jab, and you would think the right hand would follow shortly.
And there's the left hook upstairs by Liakhovich. Briggs shakes his head as if to say, had no effect on me. And you'll notice Liakhovich carrying his left hand very low. That's a bad American trait.
He's learned.
Yeah, and he's inviting an overhand right, a big right hand by Briggs if he's not careful.
So Shannon Briggs already, though, slowed his pace so dramatically here.
And you hear the crowd reaction.
But Liakhovich you know, rightfully concerned about overcommitting and getting countered again. He was hurt when he got countered by Briggs. But he should be using the jab, Liakhovich. That's been a very effective. There it is. He heard me.
He did it on cue. Fans trying to get behind Liakhovich by chanting his name.
Now, mind you, this round is going almost exactly the way Liakhovich would like it to go in these early rounds. He's winning the round and not having to do much, and Briggs is not punching. So might not be exciting, but for Liakhovich, this works. Stop.
Our main event here tonight comes from Chase Field in Phoenix, Arizona. Liakhovich versus Briggs, off to a slow start.
He's coming back. Now he's starting to drop that left hand early, and we were doting on that.
Which one is that?
He's dropping that left hand down here. So when he's pulling out and coming in, he's open for straight right hands.
I'm trying to time coming in, but I'm waiting too much.
You're waiting too much. Yeah, you're waiting too much, and you're making two moves. If you're going to counter punch, make one move and shoot quick. Okay. But try to time him coming in. Let's pick it up now. Behind the jab. You're starting to come on. Just relax. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Hey, come on. Come on. Come on. Come on. We got to go, guys.
Well, they finally got the mouthpiece in this time. Chuck McGregor, former Liakhovich trainer, a longtime resident of the Phoenix area, and a very close friend of Liakhovich's trainer, Kenny Weldon. So Briggs looking for every edge, bringing in his Liakhovich's former trainer to try to get inside Liakhovich's head. But Liakhovich says, hey, I'm a totally different guy today, and it will not give you an advantage.
Briggs trying to start a little faster. It was interesting. Shannon Briggs understood that he waited too long in that last round and didn't really get going. You know, with the 110 rounds of sparring he talked about, when he fought Jameel McCline in 2002, lost a decision. He said he only sparred 17 rounds. Part of it because there just isn't money to pay sparring partners unless you get on this world stage, and sometimes they're not available. We'll see if it has an impact and helps him. Liakhovich has been made very timid by that initial left hook that hurt him. He's thinking to himself, I don't want to overcommit. I want to make sure that I make my punches count.
Has there been a punch thrown in this round?
You know, only a couple. There's a few jabs.
Oh, big body shot there by Liakhovich. Maybe that'll start something.
And they don't want him on the ropes, Liakhovich, as Shannon Briggs comes forward.
And I'm surprised Briggs didn't continue to come forward. He had him on the ropes. He backed off for some reason.
You know, Shannon Briggs is a guy who talks a lot about activity in the ring, but for the most part, as we said, he fights in spurts. He doesn't look to sustain a lot of activity in the ring.
Well, he obviously is just looking for that one big punch,
which he almost had in round one.
But he also knows that Liakhovich has a very good chin. It's very tough to get him down.
And honestly, I would have thought we would have a quicker pace early in this fight. Even though I suggested Liakhovich doesn't want to take risks early in this fight, I still would have thought he would be a little bit more active, but that was slowed by that first round that Briggs had.
Liakhovich inviting Briggs in just now. You see him wink at him and usher him in. He said, all right, come on in. I can take it. But this is one punch at a time, each guy. No sustained action, no combinations. They are not letting their hands go whatsoever.
And certainly from Liakhovich, we saw much more combination punching and activity in the Brewster fight. This is a round that, you know, it's hard to score, except most of the action's been from Liakhovich.
Liakhovich with a left hook upstairs. Again, Briggs just waves it off.
Now, Liakhovich has a better left hook than people think, and he's landing it against Briggs now.
Keep dropping it like that, he's going to start jumping on you in a minute with right hands.
And you know what? He don't have to hit you on the head. He can hit you on the shoulder or something, you know. You hit them corners moving. When you near the ropes, you get your left hand up.
Okay.
Now, offensively, double up your jab. Double up your jab.
Okay.
And when he goes back like that, keep going. Keep stepping up. And you ain't through it.
Great advice by Kenny Weldon, and look how it works. Seeing it pushes Shannon Briggs back, and what he wants is for Liakhovich to take one more step in and see if the right hand will get there. And not a right hand to the body, he was just getting ready to throw, but a right to the head.
And that is great advice because Briggs can be outboxed. You know, he's got the edge and experience over Liakhovich, but he was schooled by George Foreman, even though Briggs won by controversial decision. The combinations of Franz Botha worked. That was a draw. And he lost to Jamil McCline, but McCline's boxed well against him.
Tall heavyweights who use a jab, follow with the right hand, keep their distance, and fight at their own pace are very tough for Shannon Briggs to deal with.
We haven't seen enough of that good stiff jackhammer ramrod jab of Shannon Briggs. I don't know what he's waiting for there.
Briggs came in at 268. It's much higher than he has before. Look, he looks like an in-shape 268, make no mistake about it, and he's talked about all the sparring he did. But with all that, he's been very inactive for the most part in this fight, except for round one, in which he hurt Liakhovich and then did go after him to a point.
Briggs spent a couple of, big right hand missing by Liakhovich.
And was countered with a left hook by Briggs. I'm not sure that left hook didn't get Liakhovich's attention.
Liakhovich digging to the body now. Soft point jab by Shannon Briggs, having no effect.
Couple of right hands by Briggs, pushes Liakhovich back. And again, he's on the ropes, which is not where they want him to be. See if he can counterpunch off those ropes.
Yeah, Kenny Weldon can't be happy with this.
Liakhovich talking to Briggs, trying to lure him in.
But he's not throwing anything, Briggs. He's got him where he wants him. Liakhovich just a target, a sitting duck. And Briggs did not take advantage. He let him off the hook. So, yes, Liakhovich is trying to draw Briggs in.
Another round in which the punch output is very low for both men, and it makes it a difficult round to score. Briggs landed a couple of good shots. Liakhovich has thrown more punches.
You can do the punch count on one hand in this round. And the crowd continues to be very upset.
Well, in a million years, I didn't expect this slow a pace in this fight. That's really surprising to me on all levels, especially coming off the Brewster match with Liakhovich.
Briggs starting to open up a little more with the jab. That was two good jabs, but he doesn't follow it up. Combination upstairs, left, right to the neck area by Liakhovich.
That's the first combination really he's thrown in this fight, Steve.
Did he say that? Finally, let his hands go with more than one punch.
Round. You want him big. Got it even. Listen to me. Now you're coming out. Keep your legs out. Okay? Stop rolling your hands. Stop rolling your hands. Walk him down. Okay? Listen, walk him down. Stop rolling your hands. With your shoulder up, walk him down. Sneak that jab in. That one down is killing him. Okay? Keep your hands moving. And what's going to happen? You're going to win this motherfucking thing. Okay? So it's your night. You won that round. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. Real hard.
Liakhovich trying to use that jab to push Briggs back. They weren't effective, and instead Briggs landed an interesting combination, a double right hand to the body and to the head. And Liakhovich at the end of the round throwing those combinations, he landed a couple. They weren't big punches, and Briggs quick to give the commentary that it wasn't a big punch.
Round 5 scheduled for 12 WBO Heavyweight Championship. It has been a slow pace for the most part, sort of robotic mechanical fight. Not a lot of punches being thrown. Let's see if it opens up some more from here.
Very emphatic in Shannon Briggs' corner, of course, for him to be more active. That's pretty obvious. And now he is, and he's landed. They're trading left hooks.
Liakhovich attempting the jab, 2 in a row there, overhand straight right by Briggs, and just kind of grazed Liakhovich.
You know, Shannon Briggs made the point that Liakhovich has a short reach for a big man, 74 inches. He has a big edge in reach, Briggs. And honestly, I didn't think that was going to be as big a factor in this fight as Briggs was suggesting, but can I tell you, it has been. Good left hook by Liakhovich, but I think Liakhovich is having a hard time with the reach issue.
Well, after 4 majority decision to Briggs, Norm Fraunheim, Arizona Republic, Darren Nichols, BoxingTalk.com, William Stickney Jr. from the Houston Chronicle.
I've got it draw 2 rounds, 38-38. Now there's the right hand from Liakhovich. That punch should be there for him. It has been for every other heavyweight that throws it a lot against Briggs.
But falling short there. He's throwing it from too far out.
You're absolutely right.
Don't you think? And he, well, you know what? Can't blame him. I mean,
yeah, because he's been countered with that left hook. And again, the reach issue that Briggs talked about may be a factor. So this fight has a few dynamics that are maybe surprising a lot of people, including us.
Liakhovich should better pull his trunks up as well. Starting to slip down.
Well, given the pace this fight is being fought at, it may be favoring Shannon Briggs in terms of how well he can do in the later rounds because he hasn't had to fight at a big pace. Briggs' hands are so low, it's ridiculous. Liakhovich throwing nothing, worried about being countered.
The only thing is, if Briggs is doing sort of an anti-strategy thing here, everybody, of course, thinks he was going to try to take Liakhovich out early. He may be around in the later rounds because of this pace, but it's going to be totally non-entertaining. It's not going to win fans, and you know, he's going to try to get the W, but it's going to be at a cost.
And Liakhovich himself contributing to this, not very active, although in this round most of the punches thrown by Liakhovich. He's landed some left hooks and some jabs, etc. So he's throwing more punches than Briggs, make no mistake about that, but that's damning with faint praise.
Crisp left hook there on the inside by Liakhovich near the belt. More displeasure from the crowd. The girlfriend of Shannon Briggs, Alana Wilson. All smiles. And there is Irina, the wife of Sergei Liakhovich. Very tense.
Only one time. Go.
Breathe.
One more time. You let him back in with this round, all right? So let's get this.
You get that 10 seconds, you gotta get to the ring. I don't want to catch him in the corner, okay?
Yes, sir.
He's breaking down and he's waiting. But you've got to turn up the middle on it.
Only walk. Only pressure.
Up the middle.
Give it to that.
So far, not very much to turn the crowd on here. There was just one flurry in the opening round by Shannon Briggs. Liakhovich able to escape that barrage, but since that point, it has been quite boring.
Now, the conventional wisdom is that we're headed into rounds in which Liakhovich can get some things done, and he starts here in round 6. Let's see if he picks up the pace, and let's see if Briggs can respond.
Just now, a good left-right combination upstairs by Liakhovich.
The jab, a punch that Liakhovich has, when he uses it, is effective, and he's getting that left hook in pretty well, but it's more of a roundhouse hook.
Yeah, he's got to be careful because if it's too wide and looping, Briggs can counter with a straight right hand right down the middle, and that's what they want to see from Briggs.
You can feel Liakhovich, though, picking up the pace a bit, and you can feel him zeroing in to land a few more punches. Very hard to walk in and win the heavyweight title as a challenger without throwing many punches.
Double left hook there by Shannon Briggs, a rare combination from him.
Kenny Weldon asking Liakhovich to be more active, and he has been. There's that right to the body, and immediately Briggs tries to counter with the hook. That was what hurt Liakhovich in round 1.
And that hook was a sensational weapon for Lehman Brewster last April against Liakhovich.
Yeah, and though he never did find a way to really counter off that right to the body as much as he might have. These rounds are difficult. Certainly more action from Liakhovich, and probably he's winning this round, but it's not impressive.
Briggs with his left hand down by his hip.
He's almost begging Liakhovich to try and throw the right, thinking he can counter.
I think you're right. He's trying to suck him right in. There may be a method to his madness here.
You know, surprisingly, the one weapon that really has worked for Liakhovich has been the hook. I mean, he's been able to get that punch in pretty regularly in this match. It worked well against Brewster as well, but Brewster, a much smaller, kind of squattish fighter where the left hook can get in.
The sport that really comes to mind here, if this is a sport, is chess.
You know, left hook again by Liakhovich. The pattern that's emerging here is when he can get in position to throw that punch, Briggs just can't seem to stop it. And it's the punch that has won this round for him.
It's just a pointing jab by Shannon Briggs that has no effect, and we've seen a lot better from him with the jab. This is a good jab by Liakhovich. He doubled it up just before the bell. I don't know what Briggs was thinking in that round. The roof is open here at Chase Field. Beautiful sight from downtown Phoenix, Arizona. With a full moon. Look out, Al. Strange things happen when there's a full moon. Full moon over Phoenix.
Just don't get too brave. And look, when you throw something at him and he backs up, you keep going.
He's open.
He cannot do nothing.
Well,
with
take
his
it,
feet.
man. Take it. Let's go.
No, you don't be taking nobody right now. Take the time. You get a chance, you take him. Otherwise, you just keep doing what you're doing.
Those were the best words of the night from Liakhovich to Weldon. Don't worry about it. Well, let's see if he can back that up.
And Stitch Duran, who spoke saying take him, I don't think he meant it exactly the way he said it, but Kenny Weldon didn't want to leave any doubt. Did not want his man going after Briggs right now. He wants him doing exactly what he's doing and then looking for an opportunity. It might not make for scintillating boxing, and it's not exactly, but for him right now, it's probably the best strategy.
Al, that was the best action of the night in that corner.
At least we saw something adversarial for a moment.
Two cornermen at odds. Briggs just standing there and just waving his left hand out, and nothing's happening.
Well, you see the scoring and how close it's become. A draw with on two of the scorecards with Liakhovich ahead. I have Liakhovich ahead by 2 points now in this fight. 58-56. I agree with Darren Nichols. Now Liakhovich is jabbing to the body. He could jab to the body and then come to the head with that jab, which is what Kenny Weldon is suggesting.
And Liakhovich is unleashing a left hook, but it's being totally telegraphed. Very easy to block. A wide looping punt. Got to tighten it up over the top there, right hand.
There's the jab by Liakhovich. Finally a right hand that landed by Liakhovich. You know, even though those left hooks are not very consequential, some of them are getting in, and there's so little coming from Shannon Briggs that Liakhovich is starting to pile up some rounds.
I just don't know what he's waiting for.
I know.
Now he's talking. Shannon.
And you know, these are the rounds where Shannon Briggs traditionally has gotten more done in earlier rounds, and he got the only round in which he got a lot done in was round 1, even though he won one other round for sure. And Liakhovich himself not being super active, but doing enough to probably take these rounds.
It's a red welt forming on the forehead, the left side of Liakhovich.
Nice combination by Liakhovich. He certainly has the ability to throw those kind of combinations.
But nobody's really taking the initiative here.
I think that's the understatement of the decade.
Unbelievable.
Yes.
It's just unbelievable.
For Liakhovich, tactically, this is correct, and it's working very, very well. Just isn't scintillating.
But now this is a heavyweight championship of the world. It's an amazing stage. What an opportunity for somebody, especially in the current climate of the heavyweight division. Very unsettled, very wide open. Why somebody wouldn't want to take the initiative. Well, next month on Showtime, 2 standout welterweights will co-headline from Atlantic City, undefeated Miguel Cotto and Antonio Margarito. Looking forward to seeing those guys.
Very much so. Cotto always in exciting fights. Margarito as well. They're very, very action fighters, and they're fighting 2 very, very, very good fighters. And for Cotto, a step up to try and win a welterweight title. So that should be a lot of fun.
That's December 2nd from Atlantic City.
On you any minute. Okay? Hands up, and don't give him that around there. Slide the other way. Slide over. Let me out of here.
Well, in round 7 against Briggs, Liakhovich threw 18 left hands and 6 rights, and he was the busier of the 2 fighters and probably won the round.
Yeah, Liakhovich has won these last 3 rounds right in a row because Briggs has been so inactive, and he's been able to land, you know, a certain number of punches.
Liakhovich trying to dig to the body there with the right. Liakhovich starting to pick up the pace a little. The amazing thing is it was almost a frenetic pace against Brewster back in April.
Staggering fight. I mean,
for heavyweights?
Yeah, fight of the year. It was fought at a very
Sergei.
brisk pace and with a lot of skill, and this one is different.
Totally.
And you know, this fight turned in round 1 because Briggs hurt him with that counter left hook, and it made Liakhovich certainly more tentative and more tactical, and Shannon Briggs himself has done very little.
Now, what puzzles me, irks me, I don't know. Briggs has waited 8 years for this second shot at the heavyweight title. The loss to Lennox Lewis back in 1998. Why is he not showing more fire?
You would think, because to count on one big punch, very tough, because he landed a big punch in round 1 and Liakhovich was able to get through it. Liakhovich is a resilient fighter, so you can't rely on one punch. And yes, Shannon Briggs is fighting a very passive fight. When he does throw, he lands.
He's got to take more risks.
Of course, stamina has always been an issue with him. He talked about asthma that has dogged him and preparation. Now Briggs is throwing the jab, doing a little more in this round. So he's had a better round 8.
Briggs completely flat-footed. Every once in a while he whisks the hook.
It's almost as if Shannon Briggs is loading up to throw a jab, which is odd. But he has been more aggressive in this round, and Shannon Briggs is winning this round. There's no question about it. He's landed some pretty good punches, but then he stops. Great left hook. That hurt Liakhovich.
Yes, it did.
And it was because Liakhovich tried that right to the body. Now, why doesn't Briggs go after him?
Yeah, he doesn't follow it up.
That's in the back of the head. I told you before. Okay.
A warning from Bobby Ferreira for the rabbit punch to Briggs. Local ref Bobby Ferreira from Tucson, his 25th world title fight, his first heavyweight championship.
That's what we need. Let's stop some action when it starts. Well, big round for Shannon Briggs. First, big certainly in terms of the way this fight has gone. And he reminded Liakhovich that he can hurt him, but then he didn't go after him.
Liakhovich just walked into one.
Stop.
So a little more aggression, not much, but enough for Briggs, perhaps to take that round.
Lost the round, but it was a very close round. It could go either way. Look. Why do you think, let me ask you, why do you think you can keep dropping your hand like that for 12 rounds and not get hit with a right hand? You know what? Hey, double up your jab. When you move his feet backwards, you shove him backwards and go get him.
Shannon Briggs able to get a left and a right hand in against Liakhovich. Briggs hurt him on a couple of occasions, I thought, in that round. Briggs from up top using the jab a little bit in this round. And there's the left hook that hurt Liakhovich. He dropped his right hand, and Briggs whacked him with a very, very good left hook. Briggs should be throwing that left hook a lot more. He can land it.
Stop. You
he should be doing a lot of things.
Okay.
If this continues, Al, a heavyweight title fight that will not go into a time capsule.
No, and you know, the heavyweight division has taken its share of beating, but we've had several really great heavyweight fights this year. Certainly the Brewster Liakhovich fight, the Rahman Moskav, and obviously Tony Peters. So there have been some good fights. This one, however, is not one of them.
That left jab, by the way, by Shannon Briggs, pushed Liakhovich back. Therefore, why don't we see it more often?
You would think.
And he sees it works. There it is.
Briggs has a clear edge and power in this fight. He's been able to hurt Liakhovich on several different occasions.
And we've said this before in other fights. Briggs' left jab is as strong as a lot of guys' rights.
Keep him up. Keep him up.
Oh, there's
big
a right hand by Briggs.
Wow.
That got Sergei's attention. Liakhovich comes back. Maybe he needed a wake-up call.
Now that looked Liakhovich-Brewster-like, didn't it?
Yes, just for a moment. But now they go back to standing still. Little spurts.
And I'm really surprised from Liakhovich's standpoint because his punch output in these last two fights against Dominic Wynn and in the Brewster fight, much more. And you would think when he gets in this kind of position, he would be throwing more often.
And you could just
hear
the
let go, both of you. Come on, back up.
Frustration of his trainer, Kenny Weldon.
But this is another round that I would give to Shannon Briggs so far, unless Liakhovich starts to put on the gas, because Briggs has landed some very good punches, although there's a long time left, over a minute.
Stop. Come on, break.
Briggs is really sucking wind right now, isn't he?
Absolutely. And this fight is there for Shannon Briggs to win. He will look at this videotape, and he should feel very, very distressed if he ends up losing this fight.
Left hook upstairs to the head by Liakhovich. Right hand missed.
Very close round here, and maybe a pivotal round here in round 9.
Scheduled for 12 for the WBO heavyweight title.
This round, like the fight, is there to be taken. Briggs pawing instead of throwing real punches there.
Stop. Put your trucks up, Sergei.
Get your breathing. Get your breathing. You got him. He's breaking down. Get your breathing. Get your breathing. Get your breathing. Okay, you got it. Yeah, breathe slow. No water yet. You got 9 minutes to get this title. 9 minutes, and you're behind. But you can
think speed. Stop trying to think power. Okay. You're not going to knock this guy out. Okay. You think speed. You win these rounds. You get that left hand up. Okay. Get it up. Come on, man. Yeah, I will.
early on in the round, it'd be a chopping right hand, a countering right hand by Briggs that rocks Liakhovich. And then that digs that left hook to the body. Later in the round, Liakhovich able to get some things done on the inside. Pushes him back with the combination, not everything landing, but something getting there. And that speaks to what Kenny Weldon said, think speed, not power.
Sage advice from Kenny Weldon. Briggs is 2-1-1 with a knockout in fights that have gone 10 rounds or more. Liakhovich, 3-0, all wins by decision.
You know, the scoring in this fight could be widely divergent. It really could, because these rounds have been, when there are passive rounds, it's very hard to tell. That last round, a very difficult one to score. They want the jab from Liakhovich, and he obliges them to the body.
Kenny Weldon tells him, you're not going to knock this guy out, so box.
Well, you know, the advice to Briggs that he is behind and he better go after him, I thought was cogent. He may or may not be behind, but the sense is he might be by a couple points. And in any case, he hasn't done enough.
Who would have thought that Shannon Briggs would have a possibility of winning on points?
Yeah, exactly. And there's another counter right hand. Now from close range, when Liakhovich is there, Briggs can counter that left hook with his own right.
Most of the pundits going in figured if Briggs is going to win this fight, it's going to be by, a knockout early to mid. And if Liakhovich was going to win, it would be by, either a late move, hard body shot by Briggs, late stoppage or on points. Nice combination upstairs by Liakhovich.
Where has that been? Liakhovich, that's exactly what we expected from Liakhovich. He has thrown so few combinations in this fight.
Right, left from a long way out by Liakhovich. He made some contact, and now those are from close range and much more effective. Liakhovich winning this round with a tactical approach. Good job by Liakhovich here.
And those are combinations. That's why he's landing them. He landed some great shots there. Briggs didn't go anywhere, so Kenny Weldon may be right. He's not going to knock him out, but the combinations are the answer. He's landing what he's throwing now, and Briggs not responding.
Briggs has been down in his career at least 5 times. 3 of those times in his last title fight against Lennox Lewis. One by Darrell Wilson, one time by Jamil McCline.
Steve, you know what's significant here? Liakhovich is standing right in front of Briggs and trading, and Briggs isn't really throwing power punches. He had a lot of opportunities, Briggs did, to land power punches there, and he didn't. So that may be a sign of his fatigue.
Briggs 47-4-1 with 41 knockouts, a 14-year pro. Liakhovich 23-1, 14 knockouts, 7.5-year pro. Liakhovich's only loss to Maurice Harris. And that was back in 2002. And it was by 9th round knockout.
Break, stop.
Little adjustment right now. You know what that is? Get your weight back and start double and triple jabbing. Don't single jab this guy. Don't single jab him to the body. Don't single jab him to the head. You got to get your feet up there. That's what you're doing. You're starting to. You're starting.
Shannon Briggs able to counter Liakhovich. Liakhovich throws the left hook, and there's the countering right hand over the top. Briggs has countered effectively in this match on a number of occasions. But here's the combination punching from Liakhovich. Landing the right hand after the left hook, and then there's the jab. And he was able to land some very effective combinations during the course of that round, and a couple that looked like they might even have hurt Briggs.
Come on. Deep breath.
Time is running out for Shannon Briggs, nearing the age of 35. He'll be 35 in exactly 30 days as we enter the championship rounds.
Time. Come on, you got to get this. Chuck, come on, get this corner going better here.
He forgot to put the mouthpiece in.
Come on.
Briggs went out without the mouthpiece. Boy, the last time we saw that happen. It involved another guy from Brooklyn. Al, do I dare even bring it up?
A famous fight in which the mouthpiece wasn't necessary for him. I'm sure that was not Shannon Briggs' intent.
From the same hometown, Brownsville, Brooklyn, is Mike Tyson.
There's another counter left took by Briggs. Now here we are in round number 11, and again the urgency for Shannon Briggs is to make something happen, and yet you don't feel the sense of it from him.
Oh, big wicked right hand that nailed Liakhovich.
Now why wouldn't he follow up right now?
He just stayed there. There's a big right hand again.
Liakhovich is hurt.
Can Briggs follow it up? Liakhovich battling back, though. He is fighting hurt, though. Liakhovich with some action. Nailed Briggs on the chin.
Liakhovich is really doing the wrong thing, standing right in front of Briggs and exchanging, but it's created interesting moments.
But stamina has obviously an issue here for Shannon Briggs. We're in round 11. He just can't follow it up.
I mean, he's done enough to put himself ahead in this round, but when he did have Liakhovich stunned, and clearly he did, he just couldn't go after him.
Wild miss by Liakhovich, going for broke there.
Break, come on, let's go, back up.
We thought that if we were in the 11th round, Liakhovich would probably be ahead by points. That may be true, but it's the way it's happened that has made it less appetizing and surprising in many respects.
Less appetizing, the operative phrase.
And you know, with Briggs' hand so low, you would think Liakhovich could get something done.
Yeah, I mean, he's just inviting that overhand right, is Briggs.
And the jab, the double jabs
yep.
that Kenny Weldon has talked about. Liakhovich concerned about being countered, of course, but you have to initiate something.
Final 20 seconds of the 11th round. Liakhovich with a roundhouse right that missed big.
Getting out. Okay? This guy's too strong for you to stay in there with like that. You understand?
Okay.
No, I think we got an even fighter. You may be a little bit ahead. I can't tell.
Okay.
But one thing's for sure. If you keep throwing stupid punches, if you keep throwing stupid punches, we lose. Okay? All right.
You hear me? You gotta knock him out. So it's your choice. You got the call.
Okay.
You're in here.
Listen,
Suck it up.
right now. You're strong.
You're strong. He's not. You gotta answer him back. Go balls to the wall. Go balls to the wall. Show him what you're made of, son.
In a very distasteful heavyweight championship fight, Kenny Weldon is right. This one's too close to call. You just don't know who's ahead. But he's very upset with Liakhovich, who's just been so reckless here. He's got to tighten it up. He's got to jab and box.
And interestingly, in Briggs' corner, they feel he needs a knockout to win. Now, I have Liakhovich ahead by a couple of points, but it's very, very close. Oh, nice right hand counter right by Briggs.
I think the fists came together on that one.
Liakhovich is staying right in Briggs' wheelhouse. Not using the jab. He's giving Briggs an opportunity. He's right in the wheelhouse for Briggs.
I mean, both guys have to be thinking going into this round, this thing is just too close. Nobody really knows who's ahead, and therefore, I really have to get going here.
Liakhovich is doing exactly what Kenny Weldon didn't want him to do. Kind of languishing on the inside. He just got hit with another hook when he threw it right to the body, Liakhovich.
Tight along press row.
I have Liakhovich by 2 points, so I'm with one of the judges.
Split decision to Liakhovich.
Liakhovich getting whacked, but he throws an excellent left hook.
There's a nice left-right combination by Liakhovich.
Someone could go down in this round, I'm telling you.
Well, they're both so tired right now, very fatigued. It is likely it could happen.
And so, because they're landing a couple of significant shots.
Ooh. Big left hand there by Briggs. Pushed Liakhovich back.
And a knockdown in this round would be significant in the scoring, needless to say.
Body shot by Liakhovich.
Very close 12th round.
We approach the final minute of this fight.
Briggs with a beautiful counter right hand. Another one. Every time Liakhovich initiates now, Briggs is countering, and he just did it again and will not go after Liakhovich.
Liakhovich off balance momentarily. He stepped on Briggs' foot. There's a big right hand by Briggs, backing Liakhovich up.
Shannon Briggs has this moment right now in front of him. If he fails to take advantage of it, loses this fight, he will rue this moment the rest of his life.
And he's got the time. He's got 40 seconds. But he is really gasping. Big right hand by Briggs. Looking to follow it up with the left. The right, down goes Liakhovich through the ropes.
5, 6, 7, 8. Come here. Come here. Put your hands up. You all right? Sure.
It took till the 12th round for Briggs to finally have this breakthrough.
He's got to survive.
Can Liakhovich make it to the end?
Watch the back of the head.
Oh, look out. Liakhovich down through the ropes onto the scorer's table. It's all over. Bobby Ferreira is waving it off. Ferreira is waving it off. And a dazed Sergei Liakhovich is stuck between the officials' table and the ring. And Shannon Briggs has won by TKO. After a listless, lackluster fight for 11 plus rounds, it ends with an explosion. And the celebration by Shannon Briggs.
He's too tired to celebrate.
He's okay sitting here. It's the table.
This is just a few feet away from us to our right. Liakhovich seems to be all right now, but he's sort of pinned in there. What a bizarre ending to this fight. A strange night. Well, there is a full moon.
I thought at the beginning of this round somebody might go down, and it turned out to be Liakhovich.
Sergei's wife, Irina, trying to get in there to see if her husband is okay.
Okay, take his gloves out.
Sergei, you doing all right? Look at me. You're doing okay? Whenever you feel ready, okay? Whenever you feel ready, okay?
As I understand the rule, Al, if a fighter is punched out of the ring, he has 20 seconds to return unassisted. And Ferreira just waved it off.
That wasn't going to happen.
Wasn't going to happen, right. There's Alana, who is the girlfriend of Shannon Briggs. And Briggs, you're right, he can just barely stand. He celebrates sitting down.
He's exhausted from this.
Totally. He can't even work up a smile.
And he almost didn't have enough to get this done.
Incredible finish. And meanwhile, Liakhovich is still sitting there. This is one of the most bizarre scenes I've ever seen in boxing. This is a heavyweight championship.
Just breathe deeply. Breathe. Just breathe, Sergei.
I think he's just so ticked off and frustrated, too. Disappointed. And finally makes his way to his feet and gets back into the ring. And Sergei Liakhovich is dethroned. He did not listen to Kenny Welton. Meanwhile, over in the Shannon Briggs corner, finally able to break a smile. But he is exhausted.
GMG, Shannon. GMG, baby. Right.
The sometimes comical Shannon Briggs.
We look back at the first knockdown. Shannon Briggs had Liakhovich in trouble really a couple times before this. Then he got him in so much trouble that even Briggs, so tired, realized he had to go in and go after Liakhovich. That right hand is the one that really, really rocked him. Liakhovich was in all kinds of trouble and would go down for the first of 2 times in the 12th round. Now remember, at this juncture, and we haven't seen the scorecards yet, but it's conceivable that all Liakhovich had to do was stand on his feet to win this fight. It's possible. And now there was about 26 seconds left in the fight when Briggs came in for the second knockdown. And Briggs walks across, lands a beautiful right hand and a great body shot, and now Liakhovich would go through the ropes. And this is really significant because even if he hadn't gone through the ropes, maybe, just maybe, he could have gotten up. And we don't know, he might have hit his head on the bell there as well. It was very tough to tell. But if he, and we look at it from above, which may give us even a better view of it.
Talk about having your bell rung.
Yes, that's true. And now he goes out of the ring, and immediately Bobby Ferrero called an end to this fight, and appropriately so. And the reaction of Alana, of Briggs' girlfriend, as she watches in exaltation Shannon Briggs capture this fight at a time when it's conceivable he was on the brink of losing.
You can sum this up, Al, in one word for Shannon Briggs: finally. He has finally fulfilled a dream. Chase Field becomes his field of dreams.
And you know what's interesting for Shannon Briggs? When he beat George Foreman originally, it was a controversial decision. He lost to Lewis. Even in this, while he wins the title, because of the nature of this fight, might not get as much acclaim, but look at it. He's exalted.
Quite a scene. America is back in the heavyweight title business, courtesy of soon-to-be 35-year-old Shannon Briggs. Let's get it up to Jimmy Lennon Jr.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have the time of 2 minutes, 59 seconds in round number 12. Our referee in charge, Bobby Ferrara, stops the contest. The winner by way of technical knockout. He is the new WBO heavyweight champion of the world, Shannon the Cannon Briggs.
Brownsville, we back! Brownsville, we back! DC, New Jersey,
Well, those words have to sound pretty good to the ears of Shannon Briggs, the new heavyweight champion of the world. Standing alongside our Jim Gray. Jim?
All right. I got you, baby. I got you, baby.
Steve, thank you very much. Shannon, congratulations.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Wow, I mean, I don't even really know where to start. How would you assess this fight up until the last 30 seconds?
I was motivated, man, because the last time I fought on Showtime, you ragged me against both of us. So when you came in the dressing room, I was ready to knock you out. But I said, no.
So it's all about me. Let's talk about the fight.
Right. Well, you know, this guy was tough, man. I mean, I knew he was the, the toughest of the Russians to fight. I was supposed to fight Vladimir Klitschko in the Garden November 11th, but Shelly Finkel lied to me for about 2.5 months, had me on the string, sitting by the fax machine, telling me he was going to send me a contract, and it never materialized. And, they went to the Garden, told me they was fighting Shannon Briggs, and they wound up fighting Calvin Brock. So that hurt me. So I did the best thing I should have done a long time ago, called Don King, and to the rest, he saved my life, man, because no one was giving me a chance in boxing. Everybody turned their back on me. Don King invited me in his home. I had a good steak over at his house. I was chilling, and I said, you know what? Don King said he's going to give me a title shot. I said, I didn't believe it, but he did, man. Hey, Sergei, I love you, brother. Don't get it twisted. I was never mad at you. I was just trying to get under your skin, man. I thought you was the best of the Russian fighters, man. I thought you was the best of them, the toughest of them by far. And I didn't want to fight you. I wanted to fight Klitschko, and I didn't want to go against Kenny. I'm a big fan of his. is. But when Don King gave me the opportunity, I had to take it because nobody was giving me a shot. I love you. You're a great fighter. I watched you beat Brewster. I watched you beat Dominic Gwynn. I said, this is a tough kid. Don King.
First of all, hold on. Stick with us here a second. Are you okay?
Oh, absolutely, I'm okay.
What happened? You were the champion of the world, and it seems as though you were reluctant to throw punches all night.
You know what? First of all, I don't fight, my fight. I fought his fight, and it just, it's happened. I took a shot. It's not, like a bad shot, but I took lots of punches before. So this shot, he cut me. But
Sergei, what was your reluctance through all of those rounds to mix it up and to want to fight? You had fought Brewster toe-to-toe, and there seemed to be a great reluctance tonight. Why?
You know what? I'm not right there. Honestly, I'm not right there. I don't fight. I don't fight my fight. And he fought this. I gave him a credit. He fought his fight, and I fought his fight.
Did you realize that you were ahead, and all you had to do was stay on your feet? You were ahead, 106, 103 on two cards, and 105, 104 on another. Were you aware that you simply had to avoid getting knocked out in the 12th round?
Yeah, but you know what? He cut me. He cut me. It's not. It's like I don't understand me wrong, man. Don't cut me. Like a real, bad shot. But like I'm out of balance, and he catch me right in the bottom, right in the chin. So
he hurt me a couple times with a couple body shots, and that's why I had to take a break over there, man, because the guy is tough, man. That sneaky right hand to the body was catching me. It was hard to get his timing coming. He was, I knew coming to the fight that I had a longer reach than him. So I said, you know what, I got to beat him to the punch. He's got to come to me. So that was my game plan in a sense to catch him coming in. And I was chiming him a lot, but not as much as I wanted to. I thought I had him out in the first round, but the guy is so tough, man. Klitschko, why you do me like this, man? I could have knocked you out next week and had that belt. But thank you anyway, Shelly Finkel, for shagging me, and thank you, Don King. And I want to thank
Shannon, hold on one second.
Scott Hirsch. Scott Hirsch, my manager.
Shannon,
no one wanted me. Nobody wanted me in boxing. Scott Hirsch came to my house and from day one said, I'm going to make you a champion.
Did you realize that you were behind and that you needed a knockout?
Yes. My corner kept telling me, Chuck McGregor came over to me and he gave me a speech. He ragged me. He said, you're losing this fight, and if you don't do what you got to do, you're gonna lose. Can I say one more thing, please, Mr. Gray? I want to say what's up to everybody in Brooklyn, Brownsville. We got another champion, Mike Tyson, Riddick Bowe, and Shannon Briggs, 3 heavyweight champions from Brownsville, Brooklyn, and Floyd Patterson. And I want to say, so Jersey, D.C., and Miami.
We're going to let you say whatever you want. Let's get to the question. We're going to let you have your final say here.
Mermaid.
Let's take a look here at the first knockdown.
Okay.
And the first knockdown here in the 12th round. And tell us, what was your thoughts right here?
I was timing him. I was timing him a lot. He had to reach. He doesn't have a good reach on me. I know I hurt him right there. I was tired, man. I was real tired, man. This guy, I exerted a lot of energy trying to get him out there early. In the first round, I exerted a lot of energy trying to get him out. So.
And now let's jump forward here, as he was able to get to his feet.
Right.
And here is the end of the fight when you knock Sergei through the ropes here.
Right. 3-2. We work on it all day in the gym. I said, you know what? Hit him to the body, hurt him a little bit. I couldn't get him out. I was worried, man. I said, let me get a straight shot, and there it was. Straight right hand, right on the head, because he was holding his defense, his hands like this. So I said, I got to split the gloves, go down the middle.
Would you have always had regret if you didn't have this knockout, that you had waited 8 years for this opportunity and then not been able? Yeah, almost blew it.
And I almost blew it. Yeah, man. I've been. You asked me in the dressing room. You said you consider yourself an underachiever, and in a lot of ways I don't, but in some ways I do. But I would have probably went home and shot myself in the head if I wouldn't have won tonight. Nah, but I got 2 beautiful sons, Shannon, Caden. Alana Wilson. Where's she at? Where Alana? Come here, girl. Come here. This is my girl, man, from day one. She was by my side. Another one who, when nobody else wanted me, she took me, man. I'm crazy, man. I'm hard to deal with, so thank you, baby.
I think you've had your say. Have you said everything you'd like to say?
Mr. Gray, thank you for motivating me all these years.
Oh, it's me.
Since 99, I said I'm going to get this one.
Do I get a part of this title belt then?
I'm going to let you hold it for a week.
All right. Congratulations, Shannon.
USA, we back.
Let's bring in Don King. Don King, the promoter of tonight's fight. He's got all of his flags here, Don. So where do we go from here, Don? Because basically up until that knockout, quite frankly, this was not really worth watching.
Well, it was a great fight. I don't agree with you there
Great
about
fight.
that.
Come on, Don.
It was a great fight. The man was playing his strategy. You know, whatever his game plan was, he made it come through. So that's what makes him.
You will take a lemon and make lemonade, won't you?
Listen, it won. It was a Hollywood knockout. It don't get no better than this. And I think it's just great that we had a great show like this on Showtime. This is where it's really at. And I think that we're going to continue in this vein of going out to get them. We want the Klitschko. We want Oleg Maskiav. We're going at the same way with all of them until we unify this crown.
But quite frankly, let's be serious here for just a moment. If the fights are going to be like this, Don, how do you promote and unify this thing? Because for 11 rounds and 2 minutes and 30 seconds, this was not a fight that was worthy of a heavyweight championship title.
That's
so
your,
how do you,
that's your opinion.
Well, it's the opinion, I think, of everybody who was watching as well.
And that opinion would have had some validity to it had it not been the knockout. But since there was a knockout, who's to say that Shannon wasn't planning it all the way? You know what I mean? So you got to understand that. Now, if Shannon had a loss, you could say this was a lackadaisical fight, Don. It was cavalier. It didn't mean nothing. But when it goes out like this, here, listen to this crowd. Look at this stadium that's filled up out here in Phoenix. It's an excitement is in there. You have American champion now, and you got to say whatever you will of me, he's an American champion. How did he get there? Doing it the best way he could, and what he did in the best way he could is as good as it gets. This is what Showtime is all about, man.
Bobby has been waiting here, referee in the ring. Let's just ask him his opinion. Bobby, when a man gets knocked out of the ring, was there no question in your mind that that was the end of the fight?
Yes. You know, he's been down once, and when he got up, he was hurt. But being champion, I wanted to give him a little benefit of the doubt to see if he could defend himself, because I knew we were close to the end of the round. So I let him go again. But when he took a couple of shots and he started going through the ropes, I knew it was over, so I waved it off right then.
Thank you. Good job tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Don. Always good to be with you. We will see you again soon. Time to wrap it up, so say goodnight.
I'm going to take Shannon Briggs to Mordecai the jeweler. Every time a guy wins, he goes to Mordecai the jeweler and get him a nice big jewel, a big bubble. So get ready, Mordecai. I'm on my way. And it was going to be
You own this store?
No, I don't own the store, but he's a good guy, the best jeweler in the country. And so I want everybody to go there and buy their jewelry with Mordecai in Las Vegas.
Don, good to be with you. Thank you.
It's great to be with you because this is
Let's
showtime.
go back to Steve and Al.
Showtime.
He'll still be talking.
It's going to be a
we got a Suns
great
game. We got a
show
Cardinals game.
What a card.
Phoenix.
All right, thank you very much, Jim. Let's take a look at the scoring for Liakhovich versus Briggs. First, the official judges' scorecards, and wow, Denny Nelson had it 106-103 Liakhovich when it was stopped. Jose Rivera, the same, and Chris Wilson had it the closest, 105-104. So Liakhovich, as Jim had pointed out during those interviews, was ahead going into the 12th round. And Briggs needed a knockout to win the championship, and he did it.
Liakhovich was 26 seconds away from winning this fight, because if he had stayed on his feet, not got knocked down the next time, he would have won this fight.
And press row, Norm Frauenheim had Briggs ahead, 105-104. He's the only person who had Briggs ahead. And then Darren Nichols and William Stickney had Liakhovich winning the fight at the time of the stoppage. Let's take a look again at that final round, that 12th round. Liakhovich, remember, is ahead. All he needs to do is stay out of the way of Shannon Briggs. But Briggs had other ideas. The final seconds of the 12th round. The first knockdown's coming up.
That right hand was the start of the trouble for Liakhovich. And now, you look at the clock. As he gets up, there will be 26 seconds left in this fight. If he could have found a way somehow to stay on his feet after this knockdown, he would have won this fight by 1 point and a split decision, by 1 point and 2 scorecards. He couldn't move. He just couldn't move. He was in that much trouble. And then was sent out of the ring by Shannon Briggs. And Briggs himself had so little left in the tank. And remember the scene after all this happened, Shannon Briggs could barely stand. And so when Liakhovich got knocked out of the ring, Bobby Ferrer appropriately signaled an end to this fight. He knew that Liakhovich was never going to get back in, no matter how much was counted.
And it really was a bizarre moment, a bizarre scene. You see Shannon Briggs, who can barely stand, trying to exult, and Liakhovich is pinned between the scorer's table and the ring.
You know, the interesting thing is, for a fight that did not have a lot of drama for 11-plus rounds, the last 40 seconds and then minutes after it had enough drama to last us.
That was a made-for-TV, mini-series. The last few.
It really was, and you know, know, you and I have done a lot of boxing over the last 20-some years. I've never seen a fighter end up like that, and for Liakhovich, the disappointment is pronounced as he contemplates what might have been and how he might have avoided this situation.
Brings back memories of Ralph Branca after Bobby Thompson.
That's actually a good analogy.
Around the world. Meanwhile, in the ring, Shannon Briggs still celebrating. He doesn't know what to do first. I mean, he is so elated.
Well, Shannon Briggs is quite a personality, and we saw evidence of that after the fight.
That's right.
Yeah, if one thing, he may not be the most exciting fighter in the world, although it ended in, very exciting fashion with an exclamation point. He said he's going to bring luster back to the heavyweight division. He does have personality. He does have charisma. I think the first thing he's going to do is call up Leno and Letterman and try to get on those shows.
And he is a very vibrant personality. We see that. He's been in a number of movies. He's a very clever guy, very eclectic. The problem with Shannon Briggs is that as a fighter, he is not as dynamic as he would like to be. He is powerful, and people like that in a heavyweight, certainly. And right now, he's hitting as hard as any heavyweight in the division. So if he can get to a heavyweight, he can hurt them. The problem is, can he find a way to be more active in the ring during the course of fights? That's going to be required if he's going to market himself like he wants to. And how about Jim Gray as a motivator of fighters? Yeah. I had no idea he had that skill.
Yeah. And now, once again, an aging heavyweight makes it to the top on the heavyweight throne.
The youngest of the heavyweight champions was Sergei Liakhovich. Now we have another mid-30-ish heavyweight champion. So what that does for the division, I don't know. But this man would hope that he could get back in the heavyweight picture, and in truth, could easily do so in the next couple of fights.
Well, just a night to forget for Sergei Liakhovich, who was ahead going into the 12th round. All he had to do was stay away from Shannon Briggs in a lackadaisical fight for 11-plus rounds, and Briggs did what he had to do to pull it out in the last few seconds, and he won by knockout, and very emphatically, too. 2 knockdowns in that 12th round in the final seconds, and the final one sent Liakhovich clear through